Finishing up the deals. I recognize you folks. My name is Coach Parker. For those of you that don't know who I am, I'm the boys' head coach. We have Coach Kaufman over here with the vest on, head girls coach. Coach Myers right over here. I want to thank her for organizing the potluck, if you don't mind giving her. Good idea to get some calories in you on the off chance you miss breakfast in the morning because this thing runs a little long. Here tonight we also have Coach Najee. I'll talk more about them in a little bit, along with Coach McCullough, who is not here this evening. He was a volunteer coach, new teacher at the middle school. So for those of you that recognized a more stout man running around with the kids, that was Coach McCullough. I need to start, as I always do, with some recognition and some thanks. Obviously, the first person I need to thank is my wife. A lot of tolerance with my time away from the house. A lot of tolerance with me talking about running, and she does as best she can with nodding and listening and asking questions. But more than anything, she knows how special it is for me to be able to spend time with kids, working in an area that I absolutely have a passion for. So if you don't mind giving it up for my wife. Since she's here, I didn't know she was going to be here, but this is the first cross-country banquet she's been to in 32 years. But my mother is actually here. Believe it or not, my mother started the middle school cross-country program back in 1990. Fall of 1990. She did it one year and rode around in the car and threw popsicles at the kids. And that's one of the main reasons we still do popsicles. I need to make sure I also thank my children. Rhett, who is not here, but frequently calls and asks for updates about how the team is doing. I'll talk more about Wyatt here in a little bit, but it is a very difficult thing to not only have a coach like me who's fairly tough to get along with at times, but also then to have it at home as well. So I know it's been a special couple of years for him, and it's been even more special for me, but I'll talk more about that a little bit later. I need to thank Marie Rowley, who is our athletic department secretary. She came on this year, it was her first fall. She did an outstanding job, so if you get a chance to give some positive feedback for her, that would be spectacular. We get great support from her, and our athletic director, Rick Hennert, has been very helpful in just kind of talking through our schedule and making sure, communicating on behalf of the department to different schools, like when we go to do the homecoming relay, he contacts the ADs and things like that. So if you get a chance, thank the athletic department, I would appreciate that. The way we'll run this tonight is I'll give my little spiel here about the boys season and then go into the freshman class, recognize each child from the freshman class, and then Koff will go through and give a spiel about the season and go through and recognize the freshman girls, go sophomore boys, sophomore girls, and so on. I need to, of course, recognize and thank the girls' team. I think that they've had an outstanding growth this year in their season. Their team camaraderie has really kind of come together this season. I was impressed with some of the leadership that I saw. I want to congratulate Coach Kaufman on his growth again this year, taking over for someone that had been here 30 some odd years. And he did not hesitate to immediately start asking questions as soon as last year was over about how we can continue to move upwards. So I want to congratulate Coach Myers on their continued work with the girls team. I think that their work showed, if you don't mind giving a round of applause. Finally, I want to thank the guys. When it comes to a time when I don't enjoy being around high school athletes anymore, I'll know, and I'll walk away. I don't necessarily do this for the accolades, or I don't do it certainly for the lucrative salary, but I do it because I enjoy working with kids. And these kids are very enjoyable to work with. My first few years, I had guys that literally would show up and not want to run. And although you'll hear in some speeches tonight, running is not one of their favorite things, they do it enough to tolerate it. They want to be around each other, and because they want to be around each other, I want to be around them. It's a lot of fun to still be a part of, and so I want to thank the guys team for their continued efforts, not only to improve themselves, but to improve their team. I think as we move on and history keeps kind of chugging along on that train track, I think they'll be able to look back and see what a special impact this group of guys has been able to achieve. I will talk a little bit about the season. We had a pretty nice season. I was very pleased with how our team developed. It was kind of a capstone for me at the conference meet when there was a retired coach from Baraboo that during the JV race stopped and asked me how did I go about making workout plans. We have runners ranging from low 15s to near 40 minutes. And he had no idea how he would have done it. And he coached for 25 years up in Baraboo. And I told him it really wasn't difficult because the kids are flexible and they want to get better. And to me, that's what defined our season. Flexibility and improvement. Now, it's nice to get some of the plaques that you see up there. We did not finish until the state meet. We didn't finish lower than second place at any meet. And I do contest that we would have won any meet that we were running full strength at. But for us as a team, both varsity and JV, what made it special to me was how much each of them wanted to get better. Whether it was they were racing people on their own team or putting together race plans against other teams. To me, the self-improvement is what I was most impressed about this season. Obviously, winning our 5th consecutive conference title. I did throw a trivial pursuit question out there at we had a coach's professional development last night, and they want some trivial pursuits, so Mr. Luzier, you might want to listen up to this. He's not listening, he's in bed. But there is, the cross-country team actually won, they have won, the boys team has won 4 different named conference titles. Back in the early 80s, we won 2 Capital Conference titles. And then we won our first Badger North Conference title back in '09. We won the Badger East Conference title in the only 2 years that that conference existed. And now we've won the Badger Large, I believe, 2 years in a row. So the 5-year span ties for the 3rd longest conference streak in high school history for any one program across all of the sports that we offer. Mr. Henderson, I wouldn't have known that any other way. But I think that speaks to not just this group of guys, but the group of guys that came before them and the freshman and sophomore class that will look to continue that stretch. So for our guys, it was a great season. A spectacular performance by our teams, both at the varsity and the JV level. And I think obviously getting a back-to-back state berths and performing in the top 5 both of those years, it's special. and I think we should recognize how special it is and enjoy it for a few moments, because you're never promised the same thing another time. So let's let tonight be a celebration both from what we have now, but what we have had, and hopefully what we build towards. All right? That's that for the season. Now I'd like to recognize individual runners, and we'll do this by class. I'll say a couple of things. I'll try and keep it brief because I think they turned the lights out at 8:37. So we'll. All right, here we go. We'll go in whatever order these certificates. And by the way, not only will you get a certificate if it's your first sport you've ever been out for, you get numerals. This is the year you're supposed to graduate high school. Let's try and maintain that trajectory, please. Make sure you put it in this order, not the other order. If you have never lettered before, which I don't think we have any up here. I think everybody's gotten a varsity letter before. You get a big fabric D to put on what we used to call letter jackets. If it's your first varsity letter in cross country, you get a pin that says CC. And if it's a multiple varsity letter in cross country, you get a bar. I don't know what that means exactly, other than we used to use chevrons. All right. So, freshman class. You'll also get a results. I know everything's online, but I like to see an entire season in one sheet of paper. And on this is every result for every kid from every meet. Okay? So, I'll talk about the freshman class. When I call you up here, just stay up for a couple of minutes until the other freshmen come up, and know where you don't have to give a speech. Okay? All right, first gentleman, Isaac Freeman. Come on up, Isaac. Isaac comes to us with middle school experience. I think that don't ever confuse how quiet he is with being a reserved individual, because I saw a lot of grit and fight in just about every race that I was able to see him in, despite sometimes fighting his own body to be able to race at such an intensity. He typically ran with the next freshman that I'll call up here at most meets. But what was really fun for me was to hear about at JV State when the guys went down Brookfield. Isaac had some struggles with some stomach issues in the first mile, spent some time sidelined, and then absolutely hammered the rest of the day and closed within, 10 seconds of where he normally finishes. I think he still ended up with a lifetime best there in Brookfield. So what impressed me the most about Isaac this year wasn't so much learning how to race, but almost every single race racing through adversity. So congratulations, Isaac. Thank you. The next freshman, come on up, Gavin. Gavin Herbert, also with some experience, I believe, at the middle school level. These two were inseparable, both in practices and a lot of times in meets. That's why there were times when if one was in front of the other, I truly had to worry, because it usually didn't come down until about the last 800 meters before one of them would separate from the other one. I enjoyed watching the two of them interact at practice. They did not necessarily branch out to other people on the team, but I think they had a fan club in the senior class. Paige liked to get her picture with these two guys. So, yeah, they'll turn right red if I talk about that. But Gavin is a very soft-spoken young man, but I enjoy his work ethic because he just continues to push himself harder and harder. And I think his season best also came down to Brookfield, if I'm not mistaken, your lifetime best, right? Gavin Herbert, ladies and gentlemen. Our final freshman, come on up, Kim. I've seen at road races the last, can't remember the last Freedom Run I didn't see Kean at, I believe. He's been around road racing and the middle school program both of his years. He's also receiving a certificate as top freshman. I think the only hiccup that Kean ran into this year, about, you know, a lot of these younger guys and fighter guys, they do not like to tell me when things are hurting. And Kean is a classic example of that, where I finally had to say, either you're hurting or you're taking on some sort of different gangster-like persona the way you're lifting around like that. I assumed he hadn't joined the game. But he finally had to tell me how bad his hip had gotten. So he went in and talked to Scott. I've never actually heard Scott say, yeah, his hip is locked. I'm like, holy cats, man. So he had to actually go to a chiropractor and get it. I believe he described it as, yeah, the guy jumped on me. I didn't know if he was talking about the gang warfare or what it was. But what was fun was he wanted to run that day. Like, he wanted to get after it again that day. And so I admired his persistence with that. We kind of had to ease him back in and lower some expectations those first few races back. But by Brookfield, he was right back to it. And I think that's where you ran your best time of the season, was at Brookfield. And really, 3 great guys to build a program around over the next 3 years. So our freshman class. Freshman girls. Woo. Yeah, that's right.
All right, before I get into the freshman girls, as Coach Parker said, we had talk about the team. We have some people to thank and the season that we had. First of all, as Coach Parker said, everything starts at home. It starts with the family. So I owe a lot of thanks and gratitude to my wife Amy, who is sitting over here. A lot of times, she has to put up with me coming home, telling her, you know, letting out anything good or bad. The other thing is she'll come home from work, and now she's leaving from work, so we're crossing paths. So again, her and my children who all attended the meets, they all graduated from the school here. Without their support, it wouldn't be possible. So I want to thank all the family there. I want to thank the parents of the girls. One of the things that I was most impressed with was how well DeForest traveled to the meets. And we traveled Milwaukee twice, we traveled, you know, Nightfall, and we always had a great group of parents there to support the girls and the guys runners, and that was always so impressive to see. And one of the coaches came up to me from Baraboo, who I've known for a few years now, and he mentioned that. He says, what do you guys do that you get people to travel? And I said, they're just supportive. So again, let's give a good round of applause to the parents, because they made a lot of this possible, put up with a lot, and I want to thank you for supporting. I want to thank my assistant Trish. Trish came on with me, so this is her second year also. We're going together as a team. It's been nice to have a sounding board. Trish was a runner in high school, very accomplished runner, and running college. No, okay. But she still runs, and so it's great to have the sounding board to bounce things off back and forth, whether we agree and disagree, whatever. But the nice thing about it is we can text each other, we can talk to each other, and all that. And the support that she gives, not only to me and the team, but the girls too. I think the girls appreciate very much having the female aspect of the coaching staff. So let's give Trish her big. And then, of course, my biggest sounding board would be Coach Parker. Like he says, is I ask a lot of questions. Matter of fact, at our coaches thing last night, I pinned down and started asking questions, and he said, we'll catch up and talk about that later. I know we will. It's great to have a sounding board with Coach Parker, his assistants, Coach Benson and Coach Najee. They're great support for any questions that I have. Coach Najee was also a very talented runner in high school. And so it's nice to get that background and support from the guys' teams. All the guys, members themselves, again, congratulations on a great season. We want to thank you for the support you had. It was fun seeing you run around when our girls were running, supporting our girls, and vice versa, the girls supporting the guys. It truly was a team effort of both programs to make it successful. And so I want to thank all the coaches, the coaching staff, and the guys' team. Just real brief on our season. Again, our season was a season of growth. We came in this year with, I want to say, high hopes, and I think we finished with high hopes. Each week we improved. In the standings, we were in some of the toughest races, some of the toughest conference races we had, opponents and things like that. And the girls always gave the best. Whenever we asked of them, whether it was a hill or a tempo or just a flat-out race, they did it. And that's all we can ask for as coaches, is for them to give us their best each week. We had a lot of success. We saw improvement. We didn't get the plaques, but we did have 2 second-place finishes as a team. And as a matter of fact, at conference, at the first mile, we were actually in second place. We had an injury and some other issues that came up that dropped us down to 4th, but I was so proud of the way the girls handled it. And for them to come out and show that they could do it really shows a lot of the growth and the way they listen to the coaches, the coaching staff, and put in the effort. And I want to commend them on that, and hope that the seniors that are going on, you continue running. It doesn't have to be with the sport or anything like that, but I hope you continue with the love of running and continue to pass it down to the next generation. To the girls that are still around, again, you saw some of the success that we had, some of the growth, and hopefully it'll get you willing to put in a little bit more work in the off season now to continue that growth, which I know you'll continue to do. I also want to give a special shout out to someone here. Her first year, she was in the school district. We actually ran with the team. These last couple of years, she was not in the school district, so she was not able to run as the team. But she was here at every practice, practicing with the girls, supporting the girls. She came when we had our 6:30 pancake breakfast on Friday mornings in the dark and the cold, and showed up with her support for the girls. And so I want to give a special shout out and a thanks, and let's give her a warm applause to Amelie. So with that said, I'd like to, again, as Coach Parker said, the medals, the pins, the numbers, each of the girls will get. You'll also have attached to that is we also have the season for all the runners. And then I thought it'd be kind of neat for you girls to see the mileage that you put in each week. So I did track it each week on there, and you're getting a kind of a printout of the miles that each girl did each week, so you can see on there. I think you'll be pretty impressed when you look at some of the numbers that they put in for miles for the week. Our first freshman transferred in this year. Saw her name about 2 weeks before season started, and I wasn't sure who it was. Called Coach Parker, and we did some digging around, and so she was transferring in as a freshman. She came in, she had done some 5K road races, but was still, again, learning the sport of cross country. She, first meet, was not able to run because one of our goals, or we said, if you can't run a full 5K first week, you can't race. But you're going to be racing during the season. Unfortunately, she could not race that first race, but that didn't stop her. She continued on. She knocked 6 seconds off of her time from the beginning of the year to the very end of the year. And she PR'd at one of the tough courses in Shorewood at the second to last meet. So Ariana Grisetta, I want to thank you, and come on up and meet you. The next freshman, Lucy. Again, Lucy ran junior high. I got to see Lucy a little bit last year in 8th grade, and right away knew that Lucy had a personality that was going to fit in with the team. She's very friendly and outgoing, and if you go to any of the plays or musicals, you'll see even more of her talent in there. She's a very talented singer, from what I can hear, and all that other good things. Lucy, again, started out. Actually, she PR'd her very first race, which is kind of hard to do. And it was on down in Milwaukee, big crowd, her very first race, and she had a PR there. She stayed steady. Near the end of the year, she was kind of hitting the wall and had some injuries, so her time started to not reflect as well, but yet she still kept putting in the work and effort. So, Lucy Lucier, come on up, and thank you for your season. My final freshman, again, I got to meet as a junior high student, and also her brother ran for the cross-country track team. Very outgoing individual, an individual that was very motivated and said she wanted to be a runner. And she proved to us she could be a runner. She had a very good season where she started out in the 25s. She PR'd at 24:04 at Portage, which was near the end of the season, so her times kept reflecting. But again, as freshmen, when they have to start running these miles and 5Ks that they're not used to, near the end of the season, it starts to wear on them. Unfortunately, her body did start to break down. One of the hardest things at conference, she was running up front, running a really good race. But she started having problems and back issues, and basically had to pull out in tears. It was really hard to see. Looking forward to good things with her, though. She's a very ambitious person where we've got to keep pulling back, telling her you can't run these many miles. You have to kind of stick with the program. I know she does club running, she does track and all this other stuff. It's really great. I think we're going to have some really great things done in the future for her. Top freshman this year, Abigail Mason. And that's our freshman class.
All right, I want to take a second just to recognize real quick the fact that, I don't know how many of you know this or not, but our cross-country team grew this year in size about halfway through the season. Coach Najee had his first child, and so I want to thank him for the stress that all right. We'll get into the sophomore class now. Alphabetical by last name. First young man, we had to do a lot of creative training with Dylan. Come on up here, Dylan. Got to work with Dylan in 3 seasons last year, cross country, swimming, and track. And I will put his work ethic up against anybody. Unfortunately for Dylan, sometimes his body doesn't agree with the work that he wants to be doing. And so that's why I mentioned that we have to get fairly creative with what is appropriate for him to be doing when he does it. I believe, and I'll probably say this for the next 3 years, counting this year, he's going to be an unbelievable triathlete. I know what type of swimmer he is, the time that he puts in onto the bike, because sometimes his hips don't necessarily agree with him. But this kid can run through a brick wall. And what has impressed me about him is his positive outlook, even when he's having to do alternative workouts. A lot of kids will roll their eyes or kind of grunt, not want to do alternative workouts, but I think he started to recognize the benefits to prolong his season by doing these workouts. And from that, I have no doubt that Dylan will be contributing at the varsity level very, very soon. So congratulations on this. The next young man had some highs and lows this season. Jaden, come on up here, bud. When I talk about the highs, I mean, you know, he went down to Brookfield. Let me tell you a little bit about the meets up this year for our season. We started off with absolutely perfect conditions at Milwaukee River, the Milwaukee River end down on the lake shore there. It was a little breezy, but the temperature was perfect. The grass was mowed finally this year, and the crowd was huge. People don't understand that your best times are a combination of fitness, weather, course conditions, and race dynamics. If you can't control, well, you can't control any but one of those, your fitness. Milwaukee was perfect. That was a blessing and a curse for our team. Because for a lot of our guys, they ran an unbelievable time down at Milwaukee River. 2 of them, their season best is still Milwaukee River. And then we hit heat. And it was hot for a good chunk of the season. And finally, when it cooled off, we hit hills with Baraboo and Verona. But the guys that didn't get to run in Verona had talked me into what is called, we'll call it the Menominee Falls Meet of Future Champions, because there's a math teacher here that gets upset at the fellow at JV State. But I think it was Vincenzo that came up to me and said, hey, can we run at JV State? And I said I'd look into it. And luckily, Coach Benson was generous enough to take the guys down there the Thursday before sectionals, and they got all of that, all of those 4 things that I talked about in one day perfectly. It was cool, okay, it was a little breezy, and what was the matter with it? It was perfect, right? Yeah. What are you shaking your head? Well, Jaden took full advantage of it. I mean, you dropped like 25 seconds from your PR before that, 15 seconds? 12, okay. But what most impressed me wasn't his 17-19 that he ended the season with. It was that things were getting hard in the middle of the season. And we had to have a conversation. I forget which meet it was. We had to have a conversation afterwards. But I remember saying, hey, man, you just got to relax. His fitness was there. Where he was cramping up sometimes, and no offense, was between the ears. And as soon as I mentioned to relax and have fun, a light switch just clicked, and he started to dominate. And what was a lot of fun was he was dominating a lot of those JV races. And so when he went down, I think he took, what, 3rd at JV State or 2nd? JV State, 4th? Yeah. Top 28, whatever. But what people don't understand is the only people that beat him were homeschool varsity kids that aren't allowed to compete in the WIAA tournament. So there were 2 or 3 homeschool teams that had their varsity studs up. A sub, I think it was under 1550 down there, that kid that won it. And Jaden wasn't afraid to throw his hat in the ring. That's what's most impressive about Jaden's tenacity. I think he gets some of that stubbornness, maybe from having a couple of the older brothers that he has, but I think it benefits him tenfold when it comes to distance running. So congratulations on earning a varsity letter in your sophomore season. Another young man that's had to learn from older siblings, and sometimes Chandler embraces it, and sometimes Chandler, I think it stresses him out. Come on up. I think Chandler's PR season best and lifetime best now was that 1650 something he ran down at Milwaukee River. And so then it became increasingly frustrating for him to not be running those times again. I think getting a little bit of a bug there at Portage almost was devastating for Chandler, and could have very well derailed his entire season. And he did end up getting a pretty good chest cold, sounded like a heavy smoker there for about a week and a half. But I think he gave up the arm lights, and that was good, because at sectionals, he showed up when we needed him to show up as our number 5. You know, it was not an easy race for him. It wasn't an easy race for anybody. But the fact that he was able to put some of those kind of bad memories in the back of his mind and be able to race with his eyes in front of him, that's really what helped us qualify. I mean, there was, I could talk about any one of our top, 7 guys that helped us get there. But you know, Chandler really was able to put his money where his mouth was there on the section meet. So congratulations on a great season, also receiving our top sophomore award, Chandler Hill. Another young man that we kind of had to, he was going to come out as a freshman, but he had real bad knee issues, and so he had to forego his freshman year. Henry, come on up here, bud. And so he's a big-time swimmer. I think that's where he gains most of his fitness from. And sometimes the transition from swimming to running is not easy. Believe it or not, your ligaments get elongated when you are in weightlessness. Don't you roll your eyes at me, MJ. I saw you. But your ligaments get elongated, so when you start running again, your joints take a beating. And I think that's in part between that and just your normal growing up, kind of growing pains. His patella tendonitis really blew up on him in the last track season. Kept him out of cross country last year. But I was thrilled for him to be able to come out and run cross country. He benefited from going down there to Brookfield, ended up dropping considerable time. I think he was under 20 minutes down there, 19 something, down in Brookfield for, I think, the first and maybe the second time all season. So to be able to end his season on such a high note was impressive, and I look forward to his contribution as the years progress. Thank you, I appreciate it. All right, JoJo, come on up. George Seiler. We have a whole pack of sophomores and juniors. I'm starting to run out of board here, sorry. It's not time. We have a whole pack of sophomores and juniors that really drive each other to get better. And what's been fun is that as one kid maybe leapfrogs others in a race, the very next race you will not be able to guess which one is going to leapfrog the other one. I don't think it's out of spite. I've never seen any malicious attitudes towards each other as teammates, but I do think there's a certain amount of healthy inter-team competitiveness that really drives some of these guys, and JoJo's a great example. I think he didn't like how conference felt, and so he decided to turn around and just run lights out down at down at Brookfield as well. I know you're still playing basketball. Yeah, and that's how he spends a lot of his summer. So he's usually spending the first half of the season just getting his running legs under him. And that's what a competitive spirit does. He maintains enough patience to let his body catch up with where his mind wants to be. And I think that paid off for him this year. Congratulations on a great season. And I want to recognize a young man that we brought in out of free agency from Arizona. Braden Whipperforth isn't here tonight. I don't think he walked in. Ray, you here? I don't think he did. His boss said he had a driving lesson tonight. But I want to recognize Bray because we have all types of personalities on this team. We have a range of children that I cannot get to shut up to save my life. And we have a range that I have to just walk over with a hot needle and just surprise them to see if they're even alive. Bray is one of those really, really quiet guys. And what's fun about Bray, though, is that you know he's watching. He watches everybody around him. And it's fun because he'll see a couple of guys messing around or hear somebody say something smart, and he'll just see the slightest little grin out of the corner of his mouth. So you know he's paying attention. And I'm going to go ahead and put my money right now and tell you, 15 years, that kid's going to be an unbelievable ultramarathon. You watch him run, he's got an ultramarathon gait. You don't know what I'm talking about, you watch him next year. But I want to recognize Braden Whipperforth. Your sophomore class. All right,
All right, girls sophomores. First one up, very talented runner. Problem is she's also a very talented soccer player. And so both sports are kind of pulling at her during the season, to put time in the bowl. And sometimes it's kind of a struggle. She always comes into the year with a great attitude, great smile. But again, as Coach Parker says, putting in the running time is a little bit different than the soccer time. So the first two meets is usually the slower meets for her, to get her legs under her, to get the cardio and aerobics, the hill work and all that other stuff. But yet she continues to do it each week. And she improves each week. And the improvement, basically is going from a 26 at the beginning of the year down to a 22. And I still say if she wouldn't have hurt her ankle at conference, she would have probably broken 22. I mean, she was up front, running really good, comes around the corner, and she's in tears, and we got to pull her off the course. Elena Geoff, as a sophomore here, is earning her letter. Very talented runner, very good soccer player also, and we wish her the best in both, and we hope you can continue on with the cross country because I think your growth and effort you put in benefit you down the road, and you can improve that you'll be in one of the top runners in the conference of your senior year. So Elena, come on up, please. Our next runner, unfortunately, was only able to run a couple races. But what was most impressive was it was because of an injury, and it was a season-ending injury. But she came to me and she says, "Coach, I can't run, but I want to rehab, and I still want to be a part of the team. And if you need me as a manager or to do whatever, I'll do it." And she came to me every night before practice and said, "What do you want me to do for rehab? You want me to bike, swim, whatever. At the meets, she was always had to travel at all the meets to support not only all the girls, but to support the coaching staff by taking split times, which is very tough at the meets because the mile markers are not always the same. So again, you're moving around. And it was very impressive to see the dedication that she put in and still not to be able to see the rewards and the benefits of the season. Hopefully, she can rehab herself because, again, she is a very talented runner. She showed last year as a freshman, she came in and ran some very, very good times. And we were looking at some big things this year, so it was hard to accept the fact, but it was really great to see that she was not going to give up this year. She was not going to give up on the team and the coaches. And it's that kind of spirit, that kind of effort that is recognized by not only the girls and the coaches, but I think everybody around. So, Morgan Sophomore, come on up. The next sophomore, and I'm kind of going out of order here, but there's a reason for it. Again, came in, missed the first week of season, wasn't able to participate in the off-season workouts, but what was impressive was this young lady wanted to be a runner, and she said last year when we had our, at the end of the season, and then when we had our all-sports banquet, or all-sports meeting with the parents and everything, came up, and was very excited about what she could do in the off-season, come into this season to be running at her best. She was overseas. She was over in Italy for the summer, and yet she was sending me messages saying, "Coach, what can I do? I don't have a lot of places to run." I said, "Well, in Italy, I know there's a lot of stairs and Forum, the Coliseum. Run up and down the stairs if you have to." She did, and she would send me each week what she was doing. I mean, that was the kind of dedication that this child was putting in for the team because she wanted to be the best. She came back, she was not able to run the first race because of the fact that she had just gotten back. Or, no, I'm sorry, she did race the first race. But it wasn't her best of times or everything. But she improved week after week after week when she started to get in cross-country shape. She started the year at around 26. She ended up P&R at Shorewood at 22:14. She finished the year as the second runner for the varsity. Just completely blew us away. It was consistently running in the low 22s. I think with her off-season work and her dedication, and I know Coach Parker mentioned to me the other night that she's not going to run track, but she wants to know if she can just come and work on a track so she can get in shape. And that's the kind of dedication this child has put in. She also put in her time and effort to support Lily at state, to run the warm-ups, to run afterwards and everything, and just the general enthusiasm of this child is just a great person to be around. Brindley Schwenke, come on up. The next sophomore again, name appeared on a roster near the end of the summer before the season started, and we're like, who is this child? Again, Coach Parker went digging around, and we found out that this runner was coming from Oregon. And it's not Oregon, Wisconsin, she's coming from Oregon, the state. She was transferring into our school and was going to run cross-country. She ran cross-country out there as a freshman. First day of practice, her dad pulls up. They're just coming in from Oregon. They want to know, is it okay if she took the day off because they hadn't even unpacked the cars. They had to get her running shoes and everything. I said, yeah, take a couple days off, whatever you have to do. But welcome to the team. Just a joy to be around. This, you know, when you're traveling all the way across the country and you're moving to a state and you're joining a team, and you're thrown in a whole different culture and teammates and coaches, and yet this person fit in immediately. And this person put in the effort to be a successful runner. And so it was great joy to each week to see this person improve PR during the middle of the season at Portage, and yet just kept improving to the point where she started to get disappointed because she wasn't PRing every week, which is you just can't do that. I fully expect, and hopefully in future years to come, that more stuff coming in, be able to get more running in. Again, it would be a very valuable asset to the team. It's a very valuable asset to the girls, and just a great joy to be around and work with. Ray Wise, come on up. We do have one more sophomore. This sophomore, I think everybody knows her by now. Last year as a freshman, came on at the very end of the season, made second team all conference, and yet we were walking at state for the boys meet, and she was walking next to me, and we were just kind of discussing the course and everything, and she said, "I'm going to be here next year." And I'm like, I hope so. I mean, as a coach, you want to hear that. Honestly, I think this person had potential, but I really didn't foresee it until probably the junior year. Well, she's put in absolutely miles and miles and miles. She's put in 4 to 5 days of gym, just becoming a runner. And it's really hard to put into words what this person has done, or what this young lady has done and accomplished in such a short time. And again, I'm not going to talk too much on it because we'll get into it a little bit later when we get some more awards here. But when we went down the first meet down in Milwaukee, she set the school record. 2 weeks later at Verona, against some very tough competition, very tough course, she broke her record again. And it kept going on down until finally it got to a point where she couldn't get any lower. And we kept saying, it's going to come, it's going to come. We got to state, and if anybody's at the state course, they know that that course is not set up for a PR course. That course is just chews you up in a demanding course. And the competition is unbelievable. She went out, she blew away the school record. And the effort, the dedication that she showed was really nice to see. I know she was very appreciative of all the support that she had from everybody, from all the runners, the teammates, the parents, the guys. It meant a lot. She doesn't always show it, but I know it meant a lot. And so again, we'll talk about a little bit more of her accomplishments and achievements, but winning her letter in the top sophomore runner, 22nd place at state, new school record holder, Lillian Schultz. Sophomore class.
All right, I want to take this opportunity to thank Coach Vincent, whose service, when he first joined us, and I tell this story I think every year, but in his interview with us, was that 4 years ago now? 4 years ago, with Coach Smith and I, we asked, what's your experience with running? He said, I like to run. And he was a tennis player in high school. And we said, well, what's driving you to want to coach? He's like, I like kids. And I want another connection with kids other than the classroom. And I hope that this group of kids has not changed your mind in that respect. But I do think that Coach Vincent gives a great ear to the kids. I think he has a much better, he's got a much better sense and a much better pulse on some of the high school kids and some of the high school goings on. And so he's a great kind of conduit for me between my world and the high school. So if you don't mind giving Coach Benson another round. We're moving along in record time. I also want to point out before I forget, please, guys, do not leave. And I couldn't tell. I know there's guys' pictures over here, but please do not leave. Are there girl banners as well? Okay, great. Ms. Davison, I want to record. She had asked for the rosters. I have a feeling you've got some help from some folks, and I don't know who, but I want to recognize. Please take these banners with your pictures and your names on them. They're a great thing that has kind of carried over, actually, from 30 some odd years ago. The head coach used to put together a sheet with 2 pictures and a handwritten your season best time on it. And so this is kind of carried over the years from that. And now the ribbons and the name placards are wonderful to see. Great senior graduation party decor. So put them somewhere safe. Give them to your parents. Put them somewhere safe. So I want to recognize that. And I'll get to the senior plaques here in a second and recognize Ms. Pavin in a moment. But our junior class here, I think, I mentioned Vincenzo. Come on up here, Vincenzo. Vincent has completely transformed. He has completely transformed his mind and his body to want to perform at a high level. I've seen it in cross country, I've seen it in track, and I've seen it in swimming. What has impressed me the most is that he does not put a single barrier on his own performance. If he breaks 21 minutes, his next goal is to break 20 minutes, to get into the 19s. He's the one that really, I think, had the gusto to come to me and ask me at a very volatile point in the season when I'm high stress already going into the last month of the season. He wanted to go to the JV state meet. And I would say, I'm comfortable saying, he wanted it as much for himself as he wanted it for the rest of those JV guys. So because of his voice, we were able to get down to that meet. And I think it paid off tenfold for you down in Brookfield. And I look forward to seeing what you do this next weekend. He's one of the fellows that's going out and running at NXR Nike Cross Regionals in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. But another spectacular performance and an example of how you can get better every single season. Vincent Bertrand. One of the scarier moments for me last track season was one day when Yush came up to me and just said, "Coach, I feel like crap." And I said, "Yeah, we were doing a workout on the track. I can't remember what. Come on up here, Yush. You can blush in front of everybody." But Yush, he told me point blank, "I feel like crap," and I told him he looked like crap. I don't sugarcoat too much. But it was more of the times that he was putting out in the workout and knowing what he had put in as far as the effort over the winter months, I knew something was up. So He went home that night, talked to his folks, they took him in, had some work done, and they figured out what it was, and it was not an instant transformation, but just a slight iron deficiency. And that iron deficiency was all he needed to all of a sudden just catapult, and his time started to plummet this year. His body was able to catch up to his will. And that's what I like most about Yushin's season. I had him in 8th grade math, and I remember he was a little fella, not nearly the stud he is today. But I remember when he ran cross country for the middle school, and he was I'm going to say, a little clumsy at the time. You remember breaking your arm on the playground, right? And so I kind of worried, like, hey man, let's just come out and have fun. He's not about just having fun, he's about getting better, and he's about making people around him better. And I'll take 15 of those on my team every year, and Yush is one of the leaders in making sure folks have fun. As long as, you keep it fun and respectful for everyone. So, Yushin knows. Okay. Next sophomore, come on up here, Logan. I knew Logan wanted to be a very good runner when he was in 8th grade. Oh, I'm sorry, sophomore. Did I say junior? What's his name right there? Oh, junior. Sorry, time's just going by so quickly. Right. Logan wanted to be a good runner when he was in 8th grade. And he has absolutely maintained that goal for himself. What was fun for me to watch over the last 3 years is how he wants those around him to get better. Okay, that's enough with the knees, okay? Is how he wants to drive others to get better. He has a regimen when it comes to his diet and his sleep patterns and what he does with his body as far as rehab. He is very, very regimented. One might teeter on the side of superstitious at times, but if he is convinced that something is going to help him become a better runner, he is going to do it. He is one of the individuals on the team that I think follows running as a culture. He follows running in DeForest, he follows running in Dane County, Wisconsin, the Midwest, the world. He is somebody that has made running a staple in his life. And until this last 4 or 5 years, I would tell you we might have had 2 of those. 2 of those types of kids that running is a sport and a lifestyle. Logan has reaped the benefits of deciding to make running a lifestyle. He came out, was our #1 runner down at Milwaukee River because Lucas was not racing yet. And what's interesting to me is to watch how Logan did not flinch when he was at the front of the race. A lot of times when you have talented runners and their first few races when they're at the very front, they get a little scared at times. They get a little deer in headlights type look. He had the same look as if he was chasing from the middle of the pack. I think that if he had been on any other team in the Madison area, you would have heard a lot more about Logan this year. What impressed me was that it didn't matter who was getting the recognition. He was as about the team getting recognition as anything else. I was happy that he finally did get some personal recognition when it came to Madison.com, put him as one of the, they're called supernovas or whatever that is, online and in the paper. And so it was really, I think, warranted and long overdue for him to be able to get that type of recognition. He is going to be someone that is going to be at the front of just about every race next year as well. That's why I found the last 2 years his experience at the state meet invaluable. He is academic all-state as an individual. He is the top sophomore. He has been all-conference all 3 years. He's been in high school, and now it's a matter of when the reins are handed over. What did I say? Junior. Sorry. When the reins are handed over, how far he can take it from there. Logan Davis. Jacob, come on up here. Hands down, one of the most stubborn children I've ever worked with. And that's actually a compliment, because his opinions on a lot of things will make great Saturday Night Live skits at some point if he ever writes them down. Ask him about what he thinks pseudoscience is, or how he should decorate his bedroom on occasion last track season. There's some things that I go home and tell my wife about Jake. He just absolutely cracked the two of us up. What I have been more impressed with, though, was watching him grow up from 8th grade. He was in my wife's science classes, and I saw him around the halls. Watching him go from that to the fire lit in his eyes at every starting line. It has transformed what our team was able to do this year. I mean, we lost 2 seniors in our top 5 to graduation, obviously, on the 4th best team in the state. And everyone was, pretty much canceling this season for us. It's these last 2 guys right here that have helped keep us at that level and the movement that they've made in our top 7. Jakey, the biggest improvement I saw out of him this year, his ability to listen to his body after only 4 of us were yelling at him. He traditionally gets injured, every 20 minutes or so in the conversation. But what has been great about this year is that he took the time he needed, knowing what our goals were as a team. He was first team all-conference this year. I believe we were all-conference last year. We were second team all-conference last year. Has run at the state meet now 2 years in a row, and I guarantee you he is not letting graduation stop any goals that he has for him or this team next year. Jacob Lefevre. Chloe, come on up, buddy. Another young man I had in 8th grade math, and I think between these 3 that I've mentioned here, the last 3, they might have weighed 180 pounds between the 3 of them when they were in 8th grade. But what has been impressive about Kyler is that he has wanted to improve because he sees everybody around him improving. I think he's benefited from the connection he's made from his senior class. He's got some really, really close friends with them, and they push each other. I forget which race it was that he got beat. I think it was Shorewood, the late Shorewood meet. Was that the one you got beat, or was it the one right before it? You were not happy with how you had done. Which one was it? Nightfall. I mean, he was angry. He doesn't show a lot of anger, but the pink in his face, you could tell just talking about it, he was angry. And he came and just hammered at, was it the Shorewood Lake one? It was like he was a man on a mission. And if he can bottle that and sell it, he would make millions for the rest of his life. He wants to get better. He's going out to NXR this next weekend. I look forward to seeing what he can do on a flat, fast course like they did down in Brookfield. And I want to thank him for another great season. Thanks, man. Come on up, Pete. Harper is a young man that I also taught in 8th grade, and and he had some cross-country experience in 8th grade, 7th grade as well, I believe. But when, no, he didn't. Okay. Yeah. But when he started out as a freshman, he kind of had to let his strength of his body catch up to some of his periodic growth spurts. What was most impressive about Parker this last year, you know, he's one of those kids that will say something and you'll be like, well, why do you think you can do that? Like, I want to run a 4:25 mile or something like that. And you're like, where? And I'm making that part up. But he has these goals that he'll just say something and you look at him and lo and behold, a month later, he's right there doing exactly what he said he was going to do. One of the stranger summer routines that I've had in a long time, and that was heat acclimation. I didn't know why he thought we were going to be running in a lot of deserts this year, but he wanted to run in the middle of the day most of the summer. Well, look at what our season ended up looking like with a lot of 80-degree days. I think that in part allowed him to be able to feel comfortable to be running the times that he ran. I think his PR was up there at Portage with a 17:19. And then he took up smoking with a horrible chest cold for about 2 weeks, was able to fight his way back, earned his sectional spot at conference, and then unfortunately tweaked some metatarsals, some ligaments in between his metatarsals on his, probably your right foot. He tweaked it real bad at Verona. Went and had some x-rays done. It wasn't broken at the time. You know, he did the workout a day later, you know, and he's a high school kid, and I can't fault him for wanting to run at the state meet. I think in hindsight, it wasn't the greatest experience for him. It was a lot of pain. It wasn't the performance he wanted, but he's already told me, don't worry, coach, by January, I'm going to be right back to where I was. And I have no reason to believe otherwise. Parker Stanos, thank you. Another young man I did not teach in 8th grade, Liam Cohen. To see the growth in Liam from his 8th grade year through his junior year now has been very, very impressive to me. To see the independence, to see the independence, the whereabouts. For him, believe it or not, Liam is a thrower for me in track. And then he does the strength and conditioning program all summer long with Coach Matthews and the gang. And so I don't think he gets a ton of mileage in over the summer, but he maintains a certain level of fitness. With that, he had a great race. I think his season best and maybe his lifetime best was at that Milwaukee River invite at the very beginning of the season, like 21:13 or something like that. And I think it reminded him of how painful distance running can be, because then the next few races he backed off, and about halfway through the season he was telling me, well, that's not what I wanted when he would get done with the race. And so I'd say, well, you need to go out with so-and-so. And I think he was able to rebound, have a good, I think your nightfall race was another sub-22. And I just like to see when he decides this is going to be how I need to run fast today, he goes out and runs fast. And I appreciate that about you. Thank you very much. Congratulations on the race.
All right, our first girl junior. Again, another two-sport athlete during the cross-country season, except her other sport is kind of one that you don't think of very often. She's a mountain biking. And it's not just biking on hills and everything. She goes away, her dad and family, they go away and actually compete, I don't know, all many times, but they compete on mountains and hills and elevation, which is a great workout for her cross-country season. She basically was one of our stronger runners this year, and I think a lot of it was due to not only putting in running shape, but also from the biking and the aerobic works that she got out of that, to fully cement herself that I can pencil her in and know that she was probably going to be our number 3 finisher for varsity. That's where she finished, averaging. I think there was only one race where she didn't have a third finisher, and that's because she had such a bad migraine after that conference. She could hardly see. She said she was getting dizzy, and yet she still finished. Put in a lot of work. Disappointed last year. She was one of them that came down with walking pneumonia, kind of ruined the whole season. Came in this year with a new attitude. Put in the work in the off season. Matter of fact, one day in the summer, I believe it was out by the Conservancy, and there was a big thunderstorm, rain moving in, and I look over, and here's Gretchen running right into the storm. That's the kind of work and effort that she put in. She decided that she was going to be a runner and that she was going to be a competitive runner. She kept bugging, her times kept going down. She improved each meet to the point that she was getting disappointed because she had a certain goal in mind and wasn't going to get it. She would have had that at conference if it wasn't for the migraine. So, I know that she's going to put in the work this off season. She's going to come back even stronger next year, and I really expect some big things out of her. I've talked to her and her parents about some goals that are already put in her head that she doesn't feel is unreasonable and can hit. And so, again, I want to congratulate Gretchen Hayden on a great season. She is doing a half marathon coming up, so she's been training and asking me for mileage and all that stuff, so we're looking forward to having her finish that. Our next junior, very quiet. A lot of times you don't even know that person's around, and yet I like to think of her as the quiet assassin. She's very intense runner. She puts in the practice. She'll be injured and we're doing a workout and I'll say, you're only going to do 3. And she says, no, let me do 4 or 5. And okay, well, but we've got to take care of the injury and everything. She's one of those that you don't know she's around until she's around. She puts in the work. She's there cheering everybody on. And it just, again, it's infectious with the team that, hey, somebody else is doing that, I got to do it. Again, she's a very talented athlete. She's doing 3 sports. I got to see her wrestle last year. I was very impressed with her as a wrestler. And I know she has some high track goals this year, too. She has some different events she's trying out that she's very talented on. Gabby, again, the effort you put in and the spirit that you put in with the team is greatly appreciated. And so we'd like to thank you for another year with Gabrielle. Another runner we had kind of high hopes for this year coming in. She ran strong for us last year as a sophomore, as a junior, and I know she had some high hopes. She too put in a lot of work with the off season. Unfortunately, her season got off to a bad start with problems with blisters in her foot, other areas, and then led to other things that foot leg injuries and actually ended her season. But yet, she was another one that wasn't going to give up. She was going to rehab the best she could to see if maybe she could run by conference time, sections maybe. But when Scott the trainer came and said, no, she can't run, she still didn't let that stop her. She was in there before every practice saying, okay, coach, what do you want me to do? Do I buy it? Do the warm-ups, whatever. I want to do it. She was there at every meet. She, again, joined with Morgan to help out with taking the splits, taking some pressure off of Myers and myself in that area, grabbing the girls' gear, the starting box, all of that stuff. And yet she always did it with a smile. And so she's one of those that you're really pulling hard. She gets healthy, has a good off season, and will come back. And I know she's going to come back strong. I won't be surprised if she's on the top 5 on the team next year. But again, we want to thank you for all that you did this year and what you did on your rehab and March. Another junior again came in disappointed with her work last year, and so she wanted to prove not only to herself, but to the coaches that she could do the work and the effort and put in the results. The times were maybe not what she thought they were, but they came in actually had quite a pleasant surprise to us as the coaching staff. Again, she put in the mileage and the hard work. Her times did go down each week. Again, not maybe where she wanted, but she went down at least 3 seconds from the slowest race of the year. She was another one that quiet. We get a lot of quiet girls on the team, but yet she was always this year willing to put in the work and the effort. Wasn't happy with her results, always wanted to get better, and that's all we can do is keep encouraging them to do that, and keep training, and the work will come in the future. So again, great work. Thank you, Gary. Junior class.
Okay, we're going to alternate at this point for the senior class. So boy, girl, and what I'm going to actually do this year, oh yeah, your preparation time is over. What I'm going to do is I put together a random spinner. Oh my God. So that I'm just going to tap that, turn up the volume on this bad.
That's going to be funny.
All right. So here's how it'll work. I'll talk about the kid. Coach will talk about the kid. Kid will come up. Give no more than a 3-minute succinct positive speech. We have a shepherd's hook right around the corner. Benson's in charge. Yank you off stage. You guys didn't pass it. I don't think so. That's fine. I do want to now point out the plaques that Ms. Pavin made. She started doing these here the last couple of years. I think these are wonderful. I think that they capture kind of a career. It's nice to see multiple pictures, and then she also has on their name and some of the accomplishments along the way. So if we could for a moment please give Oh, and I also want to recognize the videos that she posts online. She'll mute me out or blur my face out of this entire speech. But she does post a lot of the races online, and I know the kids and the families get a lot of enjoyment out of those. So if we could give her a round of applause. And your first senior is Henry. Just stay seated for a second. That's important. You know, Henry is a young man that, and he'll probably talk about it when he comes up here. Maybe I'm paraphrasing a little bit. He tolerates cross country because he loves running track. And he'll be very honest about it. But Henry's the type of kid that impresses not just the coaching staff, but his teammates enough to be voted a captain. That's accolade number one. I think more important than that, and I do think that holds, and I'll talk more about this later, when it comes to being a captain and being voted by your peers, but you're looked to it with a certain regard. Leadership. I think that his actions are what, to me, speak louder than his words. Last year, he had a horrible run with some bronchitis. It caused some sports-induced asthma that he's had to, for the first time in his life, navigate this obstacle inside, not necessarily other things around him outside. And so what has impressed me about Henry is his optimism, his positive outlook on how he handles himself and how he handles his teammates. I was absolutely over the moon. In fact, I believe I texted Vincent. I was watching the race down in Brookfield online while we were doing some tempo work out at the tennis courts. And when Henry's times, actually that was during middle school, during my study hall, I was watching on my computer. And when Henry's time came through, that was the first time he had been back under 20 minutes, I believe. And he PR'd by how much? Okay. Well, first time he had been back under 20 minutes since, I think, your sophomore year, because his junior year basically got wiped clean, and it would have been very easy for him to say, well, you know, I'm on JV, I'm hanging out with my friends. One of the most admirable things, I think, is to see a senior kind of in the twilight of their career still want to drive through the pain and tolerate kind of the discomfort that cross-country can be, especially when you're not getting a ton of accolades. And Henry's character shined through with that. All the guys were PRing around him, and you know, he was cheering them on as much as anybody else, if not more. But inside, I could tell it was bothering him that he wasn't running as fast as he wanted to. And he told me at that race, he got to about 1,000 meters to go. Maybe it was the 2-mile mark. And he said, I'm about to run the last 1.1 miles of my high school career. And absolutely hammered me. I think I saw the green arrow you dropped 20 some odd places just in the last mile in that race. So I was over the moon. I texted Benson, please congratulate all the guys, but especially Henry, for his performance. I know that is a huge monkey off his back. And I've enjoyed having him for 5 years. When I had him back when he was in 8th grade as well. I think, did I teach you social studies too? No. Just math. But I've watched him grow up, and I look forward to whatever career he chooses. I know that he is a service-oriented individual. I think that speaks to why he has the characteristics that people believe a good captain should have. And I look forward to seeing what he produces in the future. Henry Meissen, come on up.
So I didn't want to do a traditional speech because I just don't like doing speeches. So I made a bunch of posters of my highlights of my cross-country career, and if you can't see them, they're also up there. So I guess I'll get started.
First time we've ever had tech involved.
All right, so number one is definitely bus rides. They're a lot of fun. That's all there's in the bus ride. You know, there's a lot of singing, sometimes dancing, even though that might not be encouraged. Yeah, the bus rides are definitely a huge highlight, and I'm sure you guys all like posters. All right. Next is the pasta parties. There's a lot of memories made in pasta parties. I don't know about the girls' pasta parties, but our pasta parties are pretty big. So those are some, I guess, memories I have at pasta parties from different people's houses. We have Chandler's house, Logan's house, and then Vince's, which is always a lot of fun, playing hide and seek trying to find my outfit. I don't know who's climbing the tower. All right. All right, next is the camping trip. This is definitely a huge highlight. A lot of volleyball gets played, that's fun. The beach, the water, the campfire, seeing the girls' team with horse sounds. That's a lot of fun. That was from last year. But, yeah. And then let's see. So I tried to draw everyone the best I could. So you can kind of tell who's doing not really good. Yeah. So you guys definitely made it this year was. You guys made it amazing. Like, I don't think I've been running cross country. So that was definitely good. Alright, and then last but not least is the coaches. I mean, you guys pushed me through everything. I didn't want to run. And it's been great.
All right, who's next? Oh wait, we're going to do a girl now, huh?
Our first senior girl.
Yeah.
We had started out with some high hopes.
Parker.
Was she was coming off some serious foot and leg injuries from track season, and so still kind of rehabbing it, getting through the season, hoping that we could able to finish the season on a very good note. She did start out the year as the number 3 runner. Again, she had high hopes, good goals at times, and then the foot injury recurred again. So we had to kind of hollow a few weeks off and on. Now the one thing about this person, last year I called her my button pusher because she definitely likes to push the envelope and see how far she can get away with things. And what she doesn't realize is that I'm almost 66, I've seen a lot of things, I've raised 3 daughters, and it takes a lot to get past me. So she would try, and we would catch her, and it'd be like, oh, okay. But yet, it was just the attitude itself that she was willing to keep pushing herself harder, and you know, it was her last year. She wasn't going to let the foot bother her. She did put in the work, she did rehab, she came back and ran a conference in her varsity spot, and ran a very strong section race, and we're very happy to see that end. We're hoping that you continue on. rehab it and have a good track season. The other thing that a lot of you don't know, a lot of these girls not only have school and they have cross country and they have clubs, a lot of them are doing jobs too. Delaney basically works as a CNA at Wanakee Manor. And I believe that's what she's looking for in the future is some kind of mental field. And so she puts in a lot of hours. I think sometimes she said she was working 8, 9, 10-hour days with no breaks. And yet she was still there at practice, and willing to do the things that she needed to do, and still push my button. So again, Delaney, thank you for a great 4 years. Come on up.
All right. Okay. I started running my freshman year because my older sister Quinn was on the team. I was actually really bad my freshman year, and I spent most of my time annoying Coach Smith and Della, which was a lot of fun. And I started to enjoy running. Looking back, though, I started to realize what I enjoyed more than the workouts and the races, for the people who made those past 4 years so memorable. I made some of my best friends through cross country, Emma, Paige, and MJ. Paige, you're the most uplifting person I know, even during morning practices. So is Emma, you guys are so positive. MJ, thank you for being the best reason to go to practice every day. My favorite memories of cross country always involve you. You guys made every meet and practice full of laughs and fun, and I'm forever grateful I got to do this with you guys. I also wanted to thank the amazing coaches. Thank you to all the boys assistant coaches who helped with every workout and every meet. Parker, I appreciate always being able to hear you on the course during my races. You always seem to know what to say. Thank you for the races you set up, the workouts you made, and the genuine care you have for your runners. Cough, I know we like to pick on each other, but I appreciate you coaching us these past 2 years. It can't be easy coaching a bunch of teenage girls, but I hope we didn't make it too hard. Thank you again. Coach Myers, it's hard to describe the impact you've had on the whole team. I've never met a more kind, caring, and thoughtful person than you. Every letter you've written before each race, and every time you listen to my day at practice, you've made my day so much better. No matter the outcome of my race, whether I PR'd or ran my worst time of the year, you made me feel important, and I can never thank you enough for that. You're not only a coach, but a true role model. I aspire to be more like you. The girls are so incredibly lucky to have you, and I'm going to miss seeing you every day. And of course, I couldn't make a speech without thanking our first coach, Smith, who was the reason I came back after my first year. Lastly, I'd like to thank my parents. Whether I was on the back of JP or running a little bit faster on varsity, you guys never made me feel like you'd be disappointed by my running, and I always knew you guys would be at the end of every one of my races. Thank you for being the best parents. To the girls left on the team, I'm so excited to see what you guys have in store for you for the upcoming season. You're all so talented, and I know you'll do amazing things.
All right, Tuck. I started coaching Tuck when he was a freshman in track. He came out for track, and he was a thrower for me for 2 years, I believe, right? After his second year, he told me that he was seeking early retirement from football and thought about coming out for cross country. I said, come on, man, we'd love to have you. Tuck is not a natural distance runner. I think that's fair to say, right? And we had the same conversation. You know, I want you to run when you are comfortable running, but you got to run. We're not going to walk. And I remember the first Norski came up, and I don't think you felt like you were ready to run there. And then we went down to Verona, and we knew that maybe that wouldn't be the best course to start on. His first race was at River Valley, and I still, you know, in my memory of 17 years of coaching, that was one of my favorite races to watch because Tuck was at the back of the JV race, but there were 2 or 3 other guys around him. A kid from Baraboo, I remember, a kid from Wanakee, we won't talk about that. But the kid from Baraboo specifically would walk, and Tuck would just keep on chugging along. And when Tuck would move past him, that kid from Baraboo would take off running again. And Tuck went by me a couple of times, and finally I said to Tuck, we don't let walkers beat us, bud. And he just looked at me and nodded. And he eventually, the kid gave up. I mean, he finished the race, but Tuck buried him. And I think the only part that was more fun for me to watch than Tuck bury that kid was the varsity guys out on the course. Because, you know, where River Valley is, the finish line is over in one corner of the golf course. And when people were finishing up there, Tuck was down in the other end of the corner coming around by the 2-mile mark. And there was maybe 8 or 9 of us down there. And so he could hear every single word we said to him from 200 yards away. And at first it was my voice, then it was a couple of other guys' voice, it was the varsity guys. And by the end of it, almost the entire team was running, jogging along next to him, cheering him on. And to me, when Tuck came back from injury this year, he had patella tendonitis real bad in his knee, couldn't even bike for the first 3 weeks. So we were just doing rehab. Then he had his wisdom teeth removed. So that knocked him out for another week and a half, 2 weeks. But I meant it when I said, I think you showed up maybe 3 or 4 days before the Shorewood meet, right? That was a Thursday meet. I think you showed up on a Monday, ready to run. And I meant it when I said it then, and I'll mean it now. I felt like we were finally in full strength with Tuck back. So I appreciate you. I know distance running isn't what you thought it was going to be or necessarily enjoyed. In fact, when I asked him if he wanted to go down to JV State after the conference meet, after he almost got mowed over by the JV girls race at the start. I don't know if some of the JV girls saw that, as Tuck was trying to finish. But I said, do you want to go down to JV State? Tuck even said, oh man, I got things to do next week. But I'm glad you chose to do some things with us, Tuck. Come on up, Tuck. Tuck is going to wait for his agent to finish out the contract before he gives a speech. So, next young lady, come on up.
This next senior runner, I was actually an assistant for Coach Parker at the time when I first became aware of this runner, and it was during the state year for the girls' state championships, and this girl was a sophomore at the time and was a very integral part of getting that team to the state. And I remember in the gym, the week of state, and a young lady came in and she was in tears and everything, and she couldn't run. She couldn't run state. She had hip problems. Fast forward, last year during track season, so she didn't run cross country last year, but last year during track season I got to work with the distance runners, and again, she decided to come out for track. She had several operations and was just going to run to see what she could do, and it was a very impressive runner. I was very excited when she said she was coming out for cross country this year. Didn't know what to expect, but was just excited to have her part of the team. Came out this year, and we were straight up front with her, and we said, we're really glad to have you on the team, but you're only going to be able to run practices 1, maybe 2 times. The rest of the time you're going to be biking or swimming. and then you can run a meets as long as you stay healthy. So figure all those weeks of the season, and you're either on a bike or you're swimming, and you're not running. And yet, come meet time, they come out and just run a very consistent race. Give everything we have. As a coaches, sometimes we got to make hard decisions. Our conference is one of the rarest ones in the world of 8 runners for varsity. This young lady was a varsity runner for conference. When it came time to sectionals, though, we had to cut down to 7. I had 9 girls basically vying for 7 spots. The hardest thing I ever had to do was to tell that person she didn't make sections, because she was worthy of it, but unfortunately just wasn't the 7th runner. And I know that she was really disappointed, but I think because of the type of person she is, she's going to use this as a growth for future, and just continue to put her head down and to prove to the world that she can do what she wants to do, and still deal with the pain and all that other stuff that she's going through. I know she's going through a lot of things right now. But we were so happy to have her as part of the team, and she was a joy to have. Again, my age, go back to the 70s, hippie years, she would fit right in with us. She wears a Grateful Dead t-shirt, all of that good stuff. And it was just fun having that person around. Fun getting to know her this year. Fun watching her grow as a runner and as a person. Again, she works also as a CNA. Very tough job. Every weekend, putting 8-9 hours a day, going to school, all this other good stuff. And yet she always did it with a smile. So again, I want to congratulate Gracie for a great year. Come on up.
I didn't start running until my 8th grade year, but it quickly turned into one of the biggest parts of my life. I just deleted it, hold on. Got it back. Starting out my freshman year, I saw a lot of improvement and a very promising future with the sport. Right up until I broke my foot during the Smiley meet up in Wausau. Recovering from this was really tedious, but once I was back, I used it as a motivation to push myself even farther. My sophomore year was the first time that the girls went to state as a team, thanks to Smith, and that year the team really worked together, and it was when my eyes opened to the potential that was in our future. I struggled with hip problems throughout the whole season, and apparently running on a stress fracture for months isn't good for your bones. A few days before the state meet, like Koff said, I found out I was millimeters away from that fracture going to a complete break, so I wasn't able to run. And this news was really hard for me. But although running does suck sometimes, I realized how much I really do love it. I needed surgery to repair all the damage from ignoring my injury, and I wasn't able to run my junior year. So coming back this year, I really wanted to focus on enjoying every moment instead of getting stuck on the numbers. This sport has definitely been hard at times, but it's also taught me so much. I learned that I can do hard things, and even though I've been injured for a lot of this, they've taught me not to take things for granted and to live in the present. And for all of the underclassmen, I want you guys to remember just to enjoy every moment of this, because it really does go by fast, and sooner than you expect, you're going to be up here giving your speech too.
Tuck, you gotta come up again. All right. Lucas. I have a lot to say about Lucas, and I'll say more in a little bit. But what has been fun to watch over Lucas's evolution is what I would call it, is the growth he's made, not only physically, not only racing-wise. I talked about, Logan and making running his lifestyle, making, Lucas will come up to me and say, "Hey coach, did you see so-and-so's South Dakota state record on the high school course?" No, why would I have seen that? I don't know where but Lucas, he invests in running, and running invests in Lucas. I think that what has been most impressive is his ability to be racing not just a clock, but an expectation. I think that he has put an expectation on himself, whether it's intrinsically or extrinsically, that he is going to be the best at what he does. He does not shudder when it comes to competition. And I think that that's been the most impressive thing I've watched over time. I can think back to his freshman year sectionals, when I would probably put money on the fact that he would tell you that was one of his least favorite races that he can recall. There was a kid that ran a jailbreak from Reedsburg, I think, at our place. And you and Elijah kind of took the bait and went after him, and Lucas suffered. That was the only time in his career that he did not qualify for a state cross-country meet. He's only the second runner in high school history to qualify for 3 state cross-country meets. And he did so, back in the olden days, you could qualify as an individual and as a team. He would have done so as an individual, all 3. But doing so as a team, I think, is what he would look back as being one of his favorite memories of cross-country. Maybe he'd say different, but seeing how he would talk about how our runners were going to do against other teams, seeing how he got fired up when I was talking about what other teams were saying about us. He took it personally, not just for him, but on behalf of his team. I'll talk more about his accolades. He'll get his varsity letter. Were you first team all-conference all 4 years? He's the only runner in high school history to be first team all-conference all 4 years. He's been all-state 2 years, first team all-state 2 years. And last year he was academic all-state as a team, and I believe as an individual. And this year he's also academic all-state as a team and individual. But I'll say a couple of more things. There's one other certificate in here. He'll get a top senior award, but he also was voted by the Badger Conference as the Badger Large Conference Runner of the Year. They're giving certificates for that now. Did you get one last year? I don't know that. Anyway, they've only done it a couple of years, and they sent a certificate this year, so I wanted to point that out. But I'll give him a couple of minutes to speak before I talk more about him in a little bit. Come on up, Lucas.
These 4 years went by really fast. It feels crazy to be standing up here for my last banquet. I still remember when my dad was waking me up for the early morning local turkey trots at my grandma's. Believe it or not, I used to absolutely hate running, so those were probably my least favorite mornings of all time. I remember one year it was snowing and my dad asked me if I didn't want to run that morning because of the bad weather, and I tried to act like I was bummed. But honestly, it was probably the best Thanksgiving I had. While I hated running growing up and only did it to make my dad happy, I'm very thankful that he pushed me and loved to watch me run. Without his love for the sport, I don't know if I ever would have kept doing it and found my love for the sport. I finally fell in love with running going into my freshman track season after Elijah gave me some trouble in the second half of that cross-country season. Even though he's not here tonight, I would like to thank Elijah for being an amazing training partner in my first 3 years and pushing me and helping me fall in love with this sport. We truly hated losing to each other, not only in races, but in workouts and really anything we could compete in, like spike ball, pickleball, or ultimate frisbee. Like when I wanted to beat him so bad, I forgot we were playing on a fenced-in court and ran straight into a fence at full speed, 2 weeks out from the state meet, messing up my face pretty bad, and went home and tried to hide from my dad. That competitiveness is the reason I became so dedicated and developed a habit of running every day. It's crazy how I went from hating this sport to becoming obsessed with it and turned it into my life. From having to run 5 days a week for practice my freshman year to not taking an off day until the every 10th day, or just wishing the workout would have ended my freshman year, to completing a workout at the race in the morning and then coming home and getting off the bus, hopping on the track by myself, and pushing myself past my limits and doing another workout. While Elijah was a huge reason I fell in love with running this sport, the team and the other guys around me also motivated me every day. We always hold each other accountable, making sure that we're staying on our paces, getting all our mileage in, doing strides when we're supposed to, showing up on time, getting the right amount of recovery, and getting at least 8 hours of sleep every night. If you didn't do any of that, you probably didn't want to come to practice the next day, as the guys would heckle you. I've never been a part of a team as dedicated as this group of guys. I'm so proud of every single person on this team, not just the varsity guys, but the JV guys as well. I don't think there's a JV sports team in this school that works as hard as our guys. I've always said that our 4 through 7 guys and even our JV guys deserve the most credit in the world for their dedication. It's not always fun to run and it sucks at times. But these guys are working hard, not just for themselves, but because they want the team to be better. They deserve every bit of recognition as I am, because they work so hard for the team's success. Speaking of this team, the varsity squad has meant the world to me. We're always having fun together. I've never been a part of a team with as close of a bond as we are. We don't just show up to practice and go home and call ourselves a family. We truly are a family. We hang out after practice. We're grinding our Minecraft room. We're playing ultimate frisbee, playing pickleball, going out to eat, getting some extra recovery in Scots, and going to extra cross-country events. We just never seem to stop hanging out. I've spent the last 4 years running thousands of miles, but the memories I've made with these guys and the guys that have graduated are far more valuable than any school record or course record I've ever set. I want to thank a few key people who are here tonight and who aren't. First, I want to thank all my family and friends who are not here tonight but are always supporting me, whether they are at my meets or keeping up with the live splits online. I'd like to thank both of our assistant coaches, Coach Najee, thank you for being an amazing coach, for always motivating me and giving me great advice, and for probably most importantly, not getting all us guys kicked off the team or in trouble with everything you hear us talking about on our runs. Coach Benson, thank you for always taking splits, doing the quick math none of us want to do, giving us candy on Halloween, and for waiting to put an econ grade in that could potentially make me ineligible. Turns out I actually aced the test and scored better than Wyatt. I would like to thank my sister. Thank you for probably being one of the loudest people on the cross-country course, even though I still struggle to hear you sometimes. Sorry about that. I'd like to thank my brother for always setting the bar insanely high, because he might not know the most about running, and thinks a sub 15-minute 5K is the easiest, or beating Grady Lance State, or winning every race as a freshman. I'd like to thank my mom for always making me a motivational poster before every meet, supplying me with all the snacks I may need post-race, and trying to talk running with me even when you don't totally understand it all. And the last two people are probably the most important. I'd like to thank Coach Parker. I want to give a big thank you to you. You've been so invested in me these last 4 years. I've learned so much from you, not only about running, but also about life. Like not to throw a stick that is basically still on fire into the woods on the camping trip my freshman year because I can start a forest fire. Seriously though, I greatly appreciate everything you've done for me. You've turned me into the runner I am today. I've never had a coach that knows this much about their sport or is this invested in all their athletes. I've learned to trust you and trust that you'll have me ready for the big races, even if I'm going to miss the first 5 weeks of my summer training. And last but not least, my hero, my #1 supporter, the loudest guy on the cross-country course, my dad. Dad, you're the best. You didn't just get me into this sport, you pushed me to get better. You're the one who seemed genuinely excited to wake up at 5 a.m. to come watch me run, or drive me across the country, or whatever the next race is. making sure I have everything from shoes and gear to my recovery devices to my bicarb protein bars and post-race Gatorades and chocolate milks. You truly mean the world to me. Thank you for always reminding me that no matter what, the time on the clock says I always finished strong and gave it my all. I can't thank you enough for everything you've done for me since day one. I love you so much. Thank you, DeForest Cross Country. It's been an honor, and I can't wait to toe the line with my guys for one last weekend. Thank you.
All right, the next senior girl was our top senior runner for the year. She averaged about every race, except maybe the last race as the number 2 runner. She was one of the captains of the team, which sometimes I think might have been hard for her because while her personality is very friendly and accepting, she's not a very loud or boisterous person. So when this person took over the captain this year, we could see a change right away. And the way she started to organize the warm-ups and make sure the girls were doing what they were doing. I especially appreciated it at the meets. It gets really hectic sometimes to get 7, 8 girls into the box 10 minutes ahead of time. Make sure that they're all there and ready to go with spikes and the bibs are in place. But she made sure that all the girls had that and was ready to go. She took care of the warm-ups before the races. And yet she also had high goals. And I think she hit every one of them goals. I know she wanted a PR this year. She came close. But the main thing was she improved each and every week. And the thing that struck me the most was, I think it was her last week of practice, or one of the last week's practice, we were doing a workout, and she would always go out too fast. And we said, try and hit your time and hit that each lap, each time you did the workout. And it finally clicked on her, and when it clicked, when she got finished, she goes, I think I got it, I feel pretty good. The next time we did another workout, she did the exact same thing. And so she finally, I think, put it all together and realized that she was a runner, that she could do what she wanted to do. She just had to get in her head. And so hopefully that carries on with you in the future. You had a very successful 4 years as a cross-country runner. I believe you were also one of the members of the girls' state team. Just a joy to be around, just friendly, loves to let us know how her day went, good, bad, or otherwise, and just a real fun person to be around. I'm looking forward to hearing what she does in the future because I think she's got a really big future. Emma Hermanson, thank you for your 4 years. You had a great season.
Okay, so I actually didn't prepare a speech because I wasn't expecting to get one, especially with how good all the speeches were before me. But I'll start off with saying I started cross country in 5th grade. Not because I wanted to, but I had 2 older brothers that were in sports that I wanted to be better than. And I will say I finished with more varsity letters than them. So I am the best athlete. But cross country in my middle school was completely different from cross country in high school. I went from playing hide and seek and avoiding my runs to running 6 miles a day. And I remember the summer before joining cross country, I met Mr. Parker in Atlanta for my older brother's baseball tournament. And Mr. Parker came up to me in the driveway of our Airbnb after dropping my brother off, and he told me to run 15 minutes with a 3-minute break and then 15 minutes again. And I remember sitting there and thinking, what have I gotten myself into? Like, what? But shortly after the season started and I met all the girls and I started running consistently every day, I realized that like this is something that I should look forward to, and it's a blessing, not a curse. I met some of my best friends through this sport, and I just could not be more grateful for you guys. You guys are what kept me going every day when I didn't want to. I have my older brothers, they aren't here tonight, but they were really what kept me going. They're my best friends, they're my supporters, and from them pushing me down the stairs to get to Fortnite first, to them being at my cross-country meets and telling me that I could have run faster. They are always setting the bar so extremely high, and I could not be more grateful for them. And to my parents, this is why I didn't want to do this, because I knew I was going to cry. Like, you guys are my biggest supporters. From taking me to every practice, going to every single one of my meets. You guys have shown me what true love really is. Why are you guys laughing? I'm just so unbelievably grateful for you guys, and God knew that I needed you. To my coaches, Coach Kaufman, I know it was probably so just difficult and nerve-wracking to fill in the shoes for Coach Smith. Taking over a girls program after a coach that had, what, you said 30 years of experience, I know that was something that wasn't easy, but you've carried yourself with so much grace, and I know we give you a hard time all the time, but you really just want what's best for us, and I could not be more thankful for you. Coach Myers, the impact that you've had on my life these past 2 years is like, I'm so thankful for. You remind me that to be positive in every single moment and to never take it for granted. Yeah, so I love you and I appreciate you. To all my coaches and to all my friends, you guys are not just my friends and my coaches and my teammates, you guys are my family. And I'm so grateful for cross country and the relationships that I've made. Yeah, I'm just so blessed to have something that's so hard to say goodbye to. And as our sophomore team, I would say our motto, alwaysandforever.com. Thank you.
Another young man I had in 8th grade math class. When Brennan first told me he wanted to come out, he was a track athlete. Actually, it was I think the first thing you started doing. He wanted to be a sprinter, I believe. Didn't you want to run before you were in track? Then you went out for track your junior year after sophomore year? After cross country? Yeah, okay. But when Brennan started running, I think he would agree that his body didn't adjust immediately to running distance. The shin splints, the knees, it was a challenge for Brennan. But the one thing that Brennan has above anything else is he's stubborn. He is unbelievably stubborn and steadfast. If he has a goal, he's going to get after it. I remember then that next spring when you were you wanted to be a 200 runner, and I would come out to the track after practice was done, and you'd be out there doing more 200s, just because that's what you wanted to get better at. You joined the swim team. He just wanted to get better at swimming, and now he ended up going out for a club team over the summer. What I think I admire most about Brendan is he set a goal, especially this last year, that he wanted to drop time every single meet. That is really, really tough to do. When I talk about the conditions of courses and heat, Brendan did that every single meet up until, which one was it? Nightfall was the last one. And then even after that, I think that next one was just a second or two off. And then we started, I know you didn't run at the shore with late meet, but when he was he was rip-roared and ready to go. We knew Baraboo was going to be a tough course to be able to do that in. He rolled his ankle real bad. And then one of the things that Brendan has dedicated his time to is he's becoming a firefighter. And I know that that is very taxing on his body. You know, Coach Kaufman mentioned some of the girls working just about full-time jobs. That's tough to do and train at a high level. And I think that caught out to Brendan and his body. But I think that what I admire and liked the most about Brendan was his willingness and his dedication to his teammates. He was always turning around and cheering for anybody that was around him. He was setting higher bars than some of his own teammates were setting for themselves. And that's one of the reasons I think and was very pleased to see his teammates vote him as a captain this year as well. I think that speaks to his leadership, and I think it speaks to his character, and I look forward to working with him 2 more seasons. Hopefully your body can hold up, because I know you got a lot to give the swim team and the track team. Come on up, Brendan.
I started off my cross-country season very unexpectedly. I went for baseball to joining Subway, where I met the great man Alex Gardner, and he knew that I only did baseball, and then made it his relentless mission to constantly tell me how great cross-country was and how I should join. I eventually caved in and decided to go to one of the group runs at Cradle Hill. And knowing full well that I've had 0 running experience and probably going to give up within the first mile, I still went in and tried my best. I got reintroduced to the amazing great Coach Parker, and he ran the first few miles with me, making sure that I did not give up. He and the other great coaches are the reason why I'm the great runner that I am today. If Coach Parker probably taught ballet, I'd probably join, and then he'd make me good at it. But it's not just the amazing coaches that brought me here today. It's the amazing group of guys that had the same focus of running. They've shown me what a team should look and feel like each day, and I can't thank them enough for that. Shout out to Moby for being the best running partner that I could have, and always making the runs fun, and my co-captain, Henry Meisenbach, for being my best friend and my check-in whenever I'm getting a little too hard-headed. I look forward to seeing all the underclassmen achieve great things and do what they're meant to do and have the great sense of leadership when they reach the senior title. I'd like to thank my family especially Maggie, for being my biggest cheerleaders and supporting me on this very viewer-unfriendly sport. In all seriousness, cross country has been the greatest decision I've ever made, and I will choose to continue doing it outside of school. I can't thank you enough, DeForest Cross Country team, for the beautiful years that you've given me. Thank you.
Our next senior is, I think it's safe to say, we had our camping trip and we held the elections for captain. This person got unanimous. Everybody voted for this person. That's pretty rare, especially when a couple of girls, you know, the first or second day, basically with the group, and they're picking a person that they say, hey, this is who we want as a leader. This person would always, always have the team first. She always came second. And yet, she put more effort each and every year into improving herself so that she could say that she was a runner. She had some breathing problems, and when she would run, there'd be other teams and coaches and whatever thinking, we need the ambulance out here, this person's dying. And we would say, no, that's how she's okay. You gotta let her handle it. This year, she came in, and before the season started, there's a race I always do, if they have a full moon run, and I know she does that, her and her family do that also. And when I saw her this year, I was flabbergasted at the change that this person had already made. And she ran that race. It was at nighttime, a very humid race. And I saw her afterwards, and I said, how'd you do? She said, great. And then she told me her time and kind of blew me away. But what was more surprising was she was breathing normally. She wasn't having any problems. And that carried on into the year. Her effort, her work effort, and her leadership was probably the most important reason for the success of the team this year. She was there to cheer on whether she was running or not running. She was there during the week of state, coming in. She also works a full-time job. She's making pies at Norski Nook in the morning. She's very involved with the FFA. Matter of fact, after this year, she's been my supplier for 4 years for fruit, so I got to find a new person for that. She just does it, but she always does it with a smile. I don't think I've ever seen her not smile. And that's just the type of person she is. Paige, we're really excited for not only what you've done to show the classes that are coming up, the leadership skills and the effort, the work effort that you put in, and it's been appreciated. Like I said, the man with the gold is happening very, very, very. And I think you have a great future ahead of you, and again, I'm looking forward to just what lies ahead. So I hope you stay in touch. Thank you for all you've done all the 4 years. You made my job a lot more easier, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
I joined cross country my freshman year mainly because my brother Joe convinced me to. Freshman year, I fell in love with the sport, team, and coaches. Cross country became a place where I was able to be myself and surrounded by some of the most supportive people. Although I didn't necessarily enjoy the running, I enjoyed the people I got to run with, and I also enjoyed getting new PRs. Junior year was a little more rough for me as my breathing became more of an issue and I wasn't as happy with my times. Many people questioned if I'd be back my senior year, and I responded with yes. They always seemed really surprised. It sounds kind of bad, but I just kind of accepted the fact that I'm slow, and I kind of stopped caring about my times as much as I did before. I honestly cannot tell you a single time that I ran this year. But my goal this year was to show the team that there's more to cross country than just what time or place that you get in a race. I wanted our team to realize the impact that they can have on each other and how important it is to have a supportive team. Whether they are the fastest or slowest runner, they matter and can make a positive impact. Junior year, when I was struggling with my times, I focused on how I could help others get better. Every chance I got at each race, I would cheer as loud as I could for my teammates who were in front of me or who were passing me. I was more proud of watching my teammates get new PRs than when I did myself. Knowing that all of you put in so much work and seeing it pay off truly made me so happy. I almost started crying watching you guys all do so good. I was just so happy and proud for you guys. I wanted to make this season fun for everyone, to relieve the pressure of being focused on times and placement, because I know it's the main goal for most. I hope that cross country could be a positive place that our team look forward to going to each day. I want the underclassmen to feel the inclusivity that I felt my freshman year and have strong bonds with the girls. Everyone on this team has an equally important role, and I'm so grateful to end my cross country career with all of you. I wish you all the best of luck moving forward. And I will forever be grateful for Coach Smith, as he always believed in me more than I believed in myself. I am thankful for his coaching, not just during races, but for his commitment to build our team culture. He cared about each of us and wanted our team to feel more like a family, which it did. He celebrated our accomplishments, whether it was a new PR or just finishing the race. He always was proud of us. Once he left, our team was lucky to find another great coach, Coach Kaufman. He was very committed to our team, and thank you for taking on the head coach and for putting our team first. I know it's not always easy dealing with us, as we sometimes like to have more fun than we do running, but you truly have done a great job in coaching us and helping us succeed in our cross-country careers. Also, thank you to Coach Myers for being our assistant coach. You have a special place in all of our hearts and bring so much contagious positivity to our team. I also have to say thank you to Coach Parker for all your help and support over the years. You've been a great coach to look up to and learn from. Also, hi, Mr. Benson. I never would have imagined that I would become part of such a close team and grown so much as a person through cross country. I'm so blessed to have gotten to know everyone and be able to participate in the sport. I wouldn't trade it for anything. Thank you.
See you later.
Caden Meyer. I think the best part for me, for Caden's a busy man. He does a lot of traveling. We were in Florida a couple of times last track season, and his commute is a little bit longer than most folks, so I was excited when Caden decided he was going to come back off of cross country. Unfortunately for Caden, his lower legs do not agree with distance running. And he's a hurdler too, and they don't necessarily agree with hurdling all the time either. What I was most worried for Caden this year was that his season was going to end the same way most of his other seasons have ended, and that was with injury. I was over the moon happy for Caden when he ran at, I believe it was the conference meet, was your last race. And I looked at him, and I don't know if he realized it, but I said to him, you realize this is the first season we've been able to make it all the way through. And I think it's because Caden started advocating for himself, which is a skill that every kid needs to be able to do before they leave high school. The advocacy that he had to tell me when he knew his body was on the brink was a huge step forward. I think his first few seasons, he would have just kept running until his legs were shaking just about. In fact, I think that happened a couple of times early on in your running career. So for him to be able to police himself and help me develop some workouts for him, he's going to be a great cyclist, I think, one day. He'd go home and make sure he'd bike around town. And I think that finding that balance and what makes what you want to do possible is a great skill set, and I'm glad that Caden has reached that. So come on up, bud. I want to thank you for your years of service and giving me your time.
Thanks for that wonderful speech. So I'm not too much about talking about myself, so I'm just going to go around thanking everybody for making all this possible. First, I'd like to thank all my teammates for bringing the energy every single day at practice and meets and any other time we see each other. I'd like to thank the parents for allowing all the athletes to be here. And most importantly, I'd like to thank the coaches, and especially Coach Parker for just always being like the greatest coach that I've known. One of the most flexible and gracious coaches. So I look forward to track season.
All right, our next senior runner, I have to say that out of my short career of coaching, that this is probably one of the most talented runners. Unfortunately, injuries wasn't able to let her show her true running abilities. Sophomore year, she was the #2 runner on the girls' state team. Very close to breaking the school record, time-wise. And unfortunately, injuries set in and wasn't able to get back to where she wanted to be. I know she tried real hard. She put in the effort, but there were some weeks that she couldn't train at all. I felt bad for her because I know that she wanted more of herself. And we tried to get her as much as we could, but sometimes it's just not in the cards. And so the very last race of the year at sectionals, she probably ran her best race of the year, and I actually saw her smile. And to me, my wife came up to me, and I was kind of emotional that day anyways, and she saw that, and she says, "You can let it go." And it kind of brought tears to my eyes, because I could finally see that 4 years had kind of hit this young lady, and she realized that she had done good. I mean, she had a lot to look back on and to be proud of. And sometimes things just don't work out they were, but the lessons that we learn are what's more important. And so I'm really glad that she was able to go out on those terms. And I'm just, again, hopeful that she can have a good track season. I think that she, again, she has a talent. I think if she can stay healthy and put in the work, she's a state runner. And I truly hope to see her out there in the cross this year. I really think she can do that. Again. Oh, one other thing is, during the camping trip this year, we had a thing we started this year. Is we had the senior girls talk to the other girls about their 4 years experience. This girl left us in tears. It was so heartfelt and emotional, from the heart, that, again, just left us feeling good. So again, I want to thank you for the 4 years you put in, the effort you put in, and great season, empty.
You wanted to make me cry before my speech even started, so that's great. If you were to ask me what I thought the one word to describe cross country is, some people would probably think running or racing, but the first word that comes to mind for me is community. Throughout my 4 years here, I have felt nothing but community and acceptance from the girls and the coaches. This sport is one of endless support and encouragement, and even though cross country is considered an individual sport, the team shines brighter than anything else. This program has given me friendships and connections that have had lasting impacts on me in my life. My freshman year, I met one of my best friends, Logan, because of this team. I've also gained people like Rylan, Taylor, Quinn, and Stacy, the seniors my sophomore year, who helped shape me as a runner and a leader. Every year, I've been left with close bonds and people I can look up to, and I'm so grateful for this program for giving me that. I hope everyone in this room walks out of this program feeling like they have someone they can look up to and that they've connected with. Next, I would just like to say a few thank yous. Thank you to the coaches for everything you guys do and all the time and effort you give up for this program. Your work does not go unnoticed. Without all of you, this program would not be where it is today. Next, I want to thank Coach Parker, Kaufman, Smith, and Coach Myers individually. Thank you for all that you guys do, making me feel so valued even when I couldn't see it for myself. You have each been there for me when I needed it most and supporting me no matter what. Your coaching has left me with life lessons that I will carry with me, and I'm forever grateful for the experience of being coached by you all. Next, I would like to thank my parents and all the other parents here who sacrificed so much in order for us to be able to do this. Thank you for always showing up for us and giving us endless support. Thank you for hosting us and making us food. Without you all, cross country would not be the same. So thank you for everything that you all do. Thank you to my fellow seniors. This experience, these past 4 years, would not have been the same if it weren't for all of you. Growing up together has been so wonderful to watch and be a part of. Lastly, I want to thank the girls on this team. Every day, no matter what happened or how I felt, I would always leave practice with a smile on my face because of you all. Even on days where practice was the last place I wanted to be, you guys never failed to make me laugh. I also want to apologize for all the times me, Delaney, and Paige probably annoyed you. And you all put up with our shenanigans. It has been such an amazing experience to watch you all grow and succeed. Even when each of us didn't do exactly how we wanted to, our community was still strong and everyone lifted each other up. Each and every one of you has a special place in my heart, and I hope you all know how loved and valued you are on this team. Each of you belong here in this community. Thank you to DeForest Cross Country for the most amazing experience. I wouldn't change it for the world. It truly does go by too fast, so please value it and enjoy it.
Caden Lewis. Another Caden. I was not 100% sure Caden was going to come back out this year, and I'm not sure until August, whatever it was, 17th or 18th, that Caden knew he was going to come back out this year. Caden will come up here and he will tell you he does not like running. I agree with that. He does not like running. He tells me that frequently. However, what I like about Caden was he made a commitment to himself. He told me several times this year how the connections he had made, the closest friends he had made, especially shout out to Boondocks, as I'm sure you're going to mention if you take the mic tonight. Caden and him were very, very close last year, and so I think Caden wasn't sure when he came back to the team this year what it was that he was going to take from it. I think what the biggest thing he took from it this year was the fact that if you say you're going to do something, you do it. And for Caden, he didn't get, I don't think he got a PR this year. I think at the very last meet of the year at Bearwood, even you were within 5 seconds of him, 2 seconds. And that's just Caden deciding he wanted to run fast that day. The only other time I'd seen that was when he ran scared, which was his junior year at Milwaukee River. You know, he had not run the full 3 miles yet, so I had to put him in the race, and he was like, Coach, my parents are going to show up. If I'm not running in the race and they show up here to Milwaukee, they're going to be pretty mad at me. And so I believe it was Coach Najee that went over to the van and got him into the race. And he ran like his shoes were on fire that day. It was amazing. I had not seen that again until the Bearwood race. And I didn't know that it mattered as much to Caden until he got done and was furious that he missed a PR on an absolutely slow course on a muggy day by 2 seconds. So that told me that he cared. The other one thing I want to mention about Caden, and I put this in his letter of recommendation for his college applications, was his voice of advocacy. What I mean by that is when Caden feels like there is wrong, he will speak to it. He will speak at it, and he will speak against it. And I think that that's an admirable trait to have as a teenager. It's going to be something that I hope you carry the rest of your life. Come on up, Caden. Thank you.
Hi guys, how's it going? No, I do not like running. I've never liked running. It was my freshman year with Boone, actually, that I had started running. And told me, if you join cross country, I'll join swim with you. So I joined cross country my sophomore year, and he didn't join swim. It was disappointing. But it was running with him that made cross country fun for me. And the experiences that I had were also quite interesting. I can't deny this team is a handful at times, but I love them all the same. And then we have the coaches. Najee, I never really got to talk a lot with you. You're always with the fast people. I'm not fast. I admit that. Benson is a very interesting character. He's my advisory teacher, like Parker was my 8th grade year when I had him for math. And he's the sweetest guy ever. Whenever I want to run 1 mile, he says, no, you're going to run 4.5. And he runs by my side the entire time. Make sure, even when I try to go really slow, he's always there. Thank you, Benson. And then we have Parker. I remember in 8th grade, when I first started actually swimming in general, Parker had come up, and I think it was just a way for him to talk to me, was, you should do swim in high school. And then from there, he was like, you should join cross country. And no, I didn't want to. My parents tried 8th grade to sign me up, and they signed me up in September, and I couldn't make the cut because I was too late. They tried that again in freshman year, and it wasn't for Parker reaching out and telling them, hey, sign up earlier, that it was your fault that I joined. Thank you for that. I want to give a special shout out to Liam back there for always running with me. I thank you for that. Him and Brayden both. I'm very slow, so I have no one to run with, and I want to thank you two as well. Brayden's not here, but so thank you guys.
Senior was what I call the second part of the hip twin sisters. Ray Smith, again, she had hip issues that we told her from day one that she was going to be basically partnering up with Gracie, that they were only going to be able to run at the most 2 days a week, and otherwise she was going to be biking or swimming. She did it. She was a fast runner, she was a good runner, but again, the hip injury just kind of ate away until it got to be so bad that she couldn't even practice at all. But she, again, kept working, rehabbing, doing all the work that she could to get in shape. Her goal was to run conference. So we said, okay, we're going to get you there. We'll see how you do. I know she wanted to run varsity, but unfortunately, there wasn't a spot, and she ran JV. The fun thing about that meet up at Bearwood, and again, for those of you who are at Bearwood, it's a very tough course. There's a lot of hills. It's not a very friendly course for somebody that has a bad hip. When she was coming around, I believe it was mile 2, I think that's where I was at, and I looked at her and I said, you okay? And she said, no, my hip's really sore. I said, do you want to drop out? And she said, hell no. She was gone. And so she finished, and when she finished, she had a sprint at the end. She started passing girls. And the first person after she finished me, I looked up and I saw her dad standing there. I ran over to her. I said, she did it. She went out on her terms. And that was Reagan Smith. She was, whatever she was going to do was going to be on her terms. She finished that race. She finished fast. She finished a good race, and I think she was one of the top JV finishers that day. And we were all so happy and proud that she could do that, because it's not easy to be in pain all the time and to still get up and do that work and want to be a part of the team. And again, it was things like that made this team what it was. The perseverance that they put in, the work efforts that they put in, lot of it was behind the scenes because they were out biking in the gym room, or out swimming, you know, in the pool at the other end while everybody else is out running and finishing up. But yet they were always there and dependable. And for that, we're always grateful. Thank you for your 4 years, Reagan, and what you left as a legacy for those behind you. Thank you.
My freshman year, I remember one of the seniors at the time told me high school goes fast, and I didn't believe it. Next thing I know, I'm giving my speech at my senior year banquet. Sophomore year was when my team made it to state. We used our former coach Smith as a motivator to make him and our team proud. We were a good team, and that experience is something I will take with me for the rest of my life. That gave me high hopes for junior year, but then I had an injury that shut down my season. A lot of us runners know a thing or two about injury because it's just something high school athletes go through. It really taught me to never take anything for granted. Enjoying the team and all the girls made it a lot easier. This last year of cross country felt like deja vu of junior year. Disappointing, but proud to say, no matter what injury I went through, stress fracture, Achilles bursitis, pulled hamstrings, running big races with big sicknesses, and torn hip labrums, I always finished the race. Hearing my dad and my mom tell me I was strong enough to do it is all that I needed. Just like anything in life, running is painful and things can suck sometimes. But knowing I just have a little bit more race left before I was finally going to feel okay kept me going. My last race of high school, I repeated that in my head consistently. The grit and motivation I learned from cross country is like no other. I am sure these speeches feel repetitive, but I'd like to second all of the thank yous and things said about the coaches. They truly made an impact on all of us runners in ways we don't realize. And I'm so grateful for the team and my family. Thank you so much for making cross country such a meaningful experience.
That was right on the line. Wyatt. You know, I was telling my wife on the way to work today that Wyatt was born the spring after my very first year of coaching cross country. That's all he's ever known. Every fall he's been alive. And he can probably recite verbatim every single fall. Not liking going to the cross-country meets in the cold or wherever. But, in fact, when he started running, I'm going to talk like a childhood a little bit, because I can. He disliked running greatly. We used to have to just say, hey, why don't you just run down to the corner and back? Or why don't you go out and run 1 mile or so? Because Rhett had started doing it, his older brother. And he was just telling us last night, or 2 nights ago, that he'd say he went running 3 miles and he'd run 1 mile down the road and just wait a couple of minutes and then run back. Fast forward to this year, and really even in high school, Wyatt's going to finish his career as one of only 2 runners to have received 4 years of an all-conference runner in cross country. For the guys' side. Lucas is the other one. We've never had that before. Wyatt's going to hopefully finish his high school career with 12 varsity letters, barring some sort of injury over the course of his swim year and his track season. There's only been 1 other athlete, to my knowledge, in DeForest High School history to have done that. What I've been most impressed about Wyatt is his ability to maintain his temperance when things aren't going right. As much as he has invested in cross country and in running, things did not go smoothly for him this year. You know, one of the first few races, he had tweaked his groin from, I think it was from lifting, I believe. He still tells me. And then after that healed up, He had a great, he got a little bit of a chest cold there at River Valley. So every time he had one step forward, he'd have 2 steps back. But really what impressed me the most was his ability to continue to commit, not just to himself, but to his team. I know it is very, very difficult to be the son of the head coach. I think that he harbored a lot more stress because if guys, on the off chance they didn't read the email that I sent or the post that I made, they would immediately message Wyatt and ask him, what time's the banquet start? Or what time, what are we doing tomorrow? Like, they would start badgering him about what workout we would do. And so I think that his ability to kind of manage that stress on top of the stress of a high school kid working and racing was very, very impressive this year. I know that he would probably tell you that he wished he had been faster, and the race dynamics or the health or the course didn't always flush out to be that way. But what I really enjoyed the most was him being able to say, I'll get it next time. I'll get it next time. And not get down on himself. Because I can probably guarantee when he was in middle school, that kind of Eeyore tone would creep in and he would probably have been down on himself. But now, I've enjoyed watching him grow into the leader that he is. It's the second year, I believe it was the second year that he was elected captain. And I think that speaks to the leadership that his team sees in him as well. I couldn't be happier for him as a coach. I think more so I couldn't be more proud of him as a father. Come on up, Mike.
Okay, I have listened to a lot of speeches tonight over the last, probably 15 years that I've been one of these. My first memory of cross country would be riding into the homecoming relay at Shoulders. I was probably 2 or 3 at the time. I didn't like it. It was cold. It was loud. I was scared. And that has continued to be some every race. I've raced for 4 years now, plus whatever in middle school. Every starting line, I go up there, I'm scared. Every block I step onto for swim, I'm scared. But pushing through that it's taught me so much in these last 4 years. I've been a part of a lot of teams, swim teams, track teams, cross-country teams, baseball teams. Shout out to the Flyers out there. They got it, which I'm not either. But this team's been the best these last 4 years. The family that has grown in my freshman year is it's something different. I'd like to thank a couple of people. I'd like to thank out there. She's been at almost every cross-country meet, almost every swim meet, track meet. My grandma never gone to a Parker senior state meet. Not in 1994, not in 2025. She was in Daytona. I'd like to thank the coaches. Coach with us. He's been a great guy for us to look up to, of what running turns into. And Coach Benson, who is also a great AP medicine teacher, even though he tried to fail me. And just, I'd like to thank the team. It meant so much to me these last 4 years. I see you guys a lot this year. So we need to swim and most like that. And a lot of you in track. But to all the younger guys, good luck in the next few years. To all the seniors, good luck wherever you guys end up, Lucas, wherever you are in the country. Blake at Whitewater, I guess. Brennan, if you end up being a firefighter, I was convinced you're actually doing that. Henry, wherever you end up. Oh my goodness, we got Caden out there. Look on the bright side of so other Caden, I honestly don't know what you're doing. Good luck. And I'm just excited to see seniors. Dobbs. Sorry, I look right. I didn't stop the thing. Yeah. Tucker.
maybe not distance running. Maybe find something to enjoy. Yeah, thank you guys.
Microphones and speakers.
All right, before I introduce the last senior, I want to first of all thank the senior class. I know it wasn't easy on you guys having you coming in halfway through your year after state year, the circumstances behind it. But I want to thank you for allowing me the opportunity and the chance to be your coach. And I'll always remember it. I'll never forget it. Each and every one of you, and you're right, even though you gave me a hard time and even more gray hairs, I wouldn't trade it in for anything. So I want to thank you so much, and I want to thank you for what you put out there as a legacy for the future classes to come on. The final senior that we have is, the only thing I can characterize her is, I don't know if I've ever seen this person that's had a bad day have a bad day. She is the most outgoing, smiling, caring person that I've come across. And to give you some idea, last year at a wrestling match, I believe I was talking to her mother, she was saying her daughter is a wrestler, and her daughter was wrestling in a match before, and the girl she was wrestling started to bleed, and Isla was more concerned about the girl bleeding than she was beating the girl. I mean, that's the type of person Isla is. She has an attitude of nothing's going to get her down, whether it's chasing the deer population out of the forest, what it is, nothing's going to get this girl down. And so for her to come in this year and to do what she did, again, elections for her captain, she came in, she was one short of being a unanimous captain vote. That's how much her teammates thought of Isla. Isla will tell you she's not the fastest runner, but last year she told me her goal was to be a varsity runner. She made that last year at the end of the season. It carried over to this year. She worked very hard during the summer. She came in great shape. She ran some great times. And she ran varsity for the most part of the season. Again, because circumstances at sectionals, we could not take the girls all that we wanted, I had to inform her that she did not make the varsity squad. But she let that down. She was there the next week at practice, and then during the week of state, she was there to run with Lily, I believe, every day but one. Isla, I think, again, the work effort that you put in, the attitude that you had, it just made our lives easier. It made our lives lighter. And I think your teammates also consider you as a great teammate, whether it was you were running, you were cheering, you were waiting for them to finish the workouts, whatever. It was truly, truly an inspiration for all of them. And I think that's going to be a great, great tool for you going on in the future, no matter where you go. And again, I think the future is great for you. So again, thank you, Isla, for all that you did for us this year.
Okay, I'm gonna try not to cry. But, I started running during COVID because my mom made me. But through the years, I've grown to love it so much more than it started, which was as more mature to me. But it began as an outlet for pent-up energy because COVID. And it's continued as an outlet for my like physical energy, but also like mental energy. When I'm having a bad day, I look forward to coming to practice. And yeah. But cross country has helped me make friends, stay happy, stay fit, and find myself. As a senior, I wanted to be like the senior captains when I was a freshman. They were always positive and genuinely made an effort to include and befriend every member of the team, and I wanted that to be my goal for the season. While I haven't been the fastest runner, I've learned a more optimistic mentality and have learned the importance of strong leadership in addition to being a team player. The team has taught me the importance of having people to lean on and motivating others. Once I was chosen to be a captain, I wanted to be a positive influence on my teammates and to be someone that they felt like they could count on for anything. I wanted to be a friend to them everywhere, not only running. And I hope I left an impact on the team as a positive person that can be counted on by their teammates. And I hope that for everyone's future while running, they have someone who is there for them like I've had teammates that have been there for me. And as everyone said before, cross country and at DeForest is more than a team, it's a family. And for thank yous, I want to thank my mom for getting me to start running. While I initially hated you for it, I love my cross country experience and I'm eternally grateful that I began running with you. I want to thank my dad, Henry and Darla, and my grandparents for watching as many cross-country meets as they've been able to. I want to thank my coaches, Kaufman, Coach Myers, Smith, Coach K, and Parker for always pushing me to improve in mindset and in times. And as a cross-country runner, I think recapping on all of it, I've learned the importance of teams, friendship, leadership, positivity, and perseverance. And I'll miss this team every past season and the coaches so much as I continue on.
Robert. There's only two of you left. It was 50-50. Mason has been running since middle school. I remember working with Mason during the track season. He was on that squad that went over to Waupun, right, for the 4x4, I believe. And what I've enjoyed watching Mason do is not only become the accomplished runner that he is with the goals that he sets, making our state 4x8 last spring, seeking to run further into college at UW Stout, but he has gone from truly not understanding what went wrong in a race to coming up and being able to tell me if something went wrong, what went wrong. If something went right, why it went right. The analytical side of his head is both a blessing and a curse sometimes. Dauber is someone that invests a lot of effort into running. He combs results. He knows who's in races coming up. I mean, I think he was able to start marking off kids that were going to be down at Brookfield just so he could start setting goals the second I told him we were confirmed in. It has been a lot of fun to watch him help some of the younger guys kind of build on that type of analytic outlook on the races. But what it's been more enjoyable for me to watch is for you to be able to find more joy in running, not just letting the kind of angst take over and remove the joy from running for you. I think that that has been a journey that you've been on for 5 years, and you have reached a point now where I'm hoping that you dive into the track season with the momentum that you have from the cross-country season to accomplish all the goals that you know you can accomplish. So I want to thank you for 4 great years and turn the mic over to you. 3 great years after retirement early on from football. So come on up, Mike.
So what got me into cross country was actually going into my freshman year. I did the free run, and I had no prior distance running experience. And I just know after the race, I ran like 23-minute 5K, and I knew that was kind of bad. And the first two people that came up to me were Alex Gardner and Danica Tyler, and they were both telling me like how amazing job I did. And I just remembered, like, in my head, I was like, that 23 minutes is good. Like, that's not something to be pissed about. And I just remember Alex was just very, like, keen on just, like, you know, you should go out for cross country. Like, you know, it's an amazing sport. You love the team. And I was kind of like, whatever. I have other important things to focus on, like football. And after freshman year, I didn't go so well. And I decided that freshman year I was going to focus on distance for track. And I think that helped me. Quitting football was probably one of the best decisions I ever made. And I think that over the last 3 years, being on this team and being with all of you guys and also the girls was the best thing that could ever happen to me. And I don't think that I ever would have been, like, met you guys if it wasn't for this decision. And I think that really impacted me. I want to thank Coach Parker for being an amazing coach in track and swim and also cross country. I want to thank Hoffman for also being an amazing coach in track and cross country. I want to thank Benson for being Benson and letting us steal all his mints in class. I want to thank Najee for helping me with the summer plan and being there after I had a bad race, just focusing on the good aspects. And I also want to thank Trish for always being positive when it's at practices or races. And I want to thank all parents for cheering not only me, but everyone else on. And most importantly, I want to thank my parents. And everything they've done for me. And also being proud of the runner, but also the person I've become. And I don't know if I'll be here, would have been here if it wasn't for you guys. So, thank you.
All right, please. Watching Blake over the years that I've seen him run, he's gone from, and one of my favorite posters is that one he brought up to state with that East Side Lutheran jersey on him. What grade was that in?
Probably seventh.
Seventh grade? But watching him not just in his growth as a runner, but as a person, he has turned himself into survival mode to predator, I think. Not in that way, in the races. Sorry. In the races. In fact, when he started, I was devastated here last winter when he had an avulsion fracture in basketball. And for those of you that don't know what an avulsion fracture is, it's when the tendon tears away a small portion of the bone from where the tendon is connected to the bone. I was devastated for him because I had no idea how long it would take him to recover from that. I quickly learned in track season it wasn't going to sideline him more than a month. And by the end of track season, I was absolutely floored. And in fact, it was because of that track season that I knew this cross-country season was going to happen. Because of Blake's track, when he started racing at, what was that, the mile at sectionals? Is that where you were, or regionals, excuse me. And he ended up dropping 5 or 6 seconds from his PR there and running just an unbelievable time. To me, that set up this team for the success that we had, along with obviously other things, but we needed that really deep 4, 5, 6 guys, and Blake was there ready to fill that role. I think what was fun for me to watch this season, and this is why I say he kind of became a hunter there in the races, was he knew that going out a little bit more conservative meant that he could pass considerably more people in the second half of his races. And it was that type of race planning that really brought our team to fruition, especially at the sectional meet, when Verona ran a jailbreak at the 800 mark with 6 guys in front of our 4th, I think. It was Blake's mentality that just started picking them off along the way, along with a couple of other guys. But I really felt like that set the tone for our team to be able to execute what we did. He's a lot of fun to be around. I think that you're not going to find too many folks that have an ill thing to say about Blake. He's caring, he's kind, and I, short of garages, I can't think of a single thing that he's ever had a negative impact on. But that being said, I'm very proud of what he's accomplished as a runner. More so, I look forward to seeing what he does as a person beyond high school. Come on up, Blake. Congratulations.
I'm going to start on page 2 about the journey throughout my high school career. So I joined cross country my freshman year because Lucas was doing it and he wanted me to join. When I was a freshman, I didn't really know what I was doing. I would come to practice and do what Coach Parker told us, and I was really out of shape. My PR freshman year was 19:59, and I got it at Portage, and I just remember being so happy about breaking 20 minutes. Sophomore year, I did some summer training, but not a lot, and I got my time down to 18:30 that year. But after my sophomore year, going into my junior year, that is the summer where I was running a consistent schedule, running around 40 miles a week. And I think being able to drive helped because I would drive to the high school and meet up with the team and get my miles in, and it was way easier than running alone in my neighborhood. Junior year, my PR was a 16:56, and I could tell that summer training definitely paid off. And this was also the first year that I went to state with the team, and that was an amazing experience, and we ended up getting 4th as a team, which was awesome. Now moving into senior year, this year was special, and it did start on the first day of practice in August. It started way back in June, training in the summer with the boys. That summer was probably the most miles I've ever ran, probably more mileage every week than I ran during the season. The hill workouts and tempo workouts in the heat really helped us build a base of fitness for the season, and the summer wasn't just about building our base, it was about building the team. We all would push each other in workouts and compete with each other. Moving into the season, we all had the same goal, and that was to contend for a trophy at state. We won every meet leading up to the state championship race. Coach didn't put us on any grass tracks this year because he knew that wouldn't help us accomplish our goal. Also because a grass track is the total opposite of what the state course is. When race day came, we ended up getting 5th place. We ran hard, but so did everybody else, and that's the reality of running. A trophy would have been a nice symbol of the hard work we put in over the summer, but it would not have been our hard work. I'm so very happy with the season, and finishing 5th as a team in the entire state is still a massive accomplishment, but our season isn't over yet. We still have one more race at NXR this weekend to perform at the level we know we are capable of and to prove why we deserve to be on that state podium. Now I'm going to give some thank yous. I want to say a big thank you to my family. Mom and Dad, thank you for coming to all my meets and cheering me on along the course. Thank you for preparing my meals and snacks before and after the race. Thank you for running to as many spots on the course that you can and cheer me on. I love you guys.
I also want to thank my sisters at Hayden for coming out to the meets and cheering me on. I hope I've been able to show you that running isn't all bad and maybe get one of you to join the team someday. Probably won't happen, but worth a shot. I can't wait to support both of you in all your sports you do in high school. Next, I want to thank my coaches. Thank you for always pushing me to be the best runner possible. You all dedicated so much of your own time to us, especially staying late for the team to cold tub and roll out. Thank you, Coach Najee, for being at the hardest parts of every course and screaming at me to catch the next guy. Thank you, Coach Benson, for getting all my splits in races and workouts and keeping us all in line at school. And I want to thank Coach Parker for not just teaching me about running and how to race, but you also taught me how to be a leader and a great person in general. And that will stick with me for the rest of my life. You are an incredible person and an even better coach. In races where I feel I can't push any harder, you somehow make me get to my next gear and keep going. You don't just want us to be better runners, you want us to be better people. And I know you think we're a bunch of morons sometimes, but I just want to thank you for everything you've done for me. You truly made an impact on my life. I also want to thank all my teammates. You guys are the best. All the runs together, the stupid jokes that we make about each other, the bus rides back from meets, the pasta parties, the camping trip, and the late night capital runs make this team in cross country so much better. Thanks for pushing me every day in practice and making every day fun. I'm so proud of this team and all the work that we've put into the sport. Thank you to DeForest Cross Country. It's been an unforgettable 4 years.
Holy cat, see, I told you it was record time, folks. That was unbelievable. It's not even second hour yet. Okay. The last few awards, if you'll give us a couple of more minutes of your time. I say this every year when I give this award. Most improved is very difficult to give, especially when you have a team that just continues to fill gaps from graduating seniors. I also say that it's tough to measure just off of sheer time, because the faster you run, the harder it is to run faster. You can only run so fast. But this year, I think that most improved not only was exemplified in his races, it was created months before when he was saying things and setting goals that I would kind of scratch my head, like, how are you setting this? We need incremental goals, but he had lofty ones, and he continued to reach them, only to be hampered by injury and illness, but I still consider Parker Stanos to be the most important.
The girls most improved, as I kind of mentioned when I was introducing her, again, started out not being able to practice because she was overseas, but yet willing to put in the work and effort, came in just not quite ready to run, so they wasn't putting out a great time. By the end of the year, she was the #2 runner on the varsity squad. She's already talked about where she wants to be next year, and I really think she's going to keep on improving, but this year she had the most improvement, and it was a really easy choice. When I asked Coach Myers her choice, it was unanimous. We both agreed immediately. This year's most improved, Ridley Swanky.
I'm going to give captain's last. I think that's the biggest honor you can have as a team member. So I say that with a little bit of a grain of salt, only because the impact that Lucas has had on this program and the historical aspect cannot be understated. He may not have the absolute fastest time ever run by a cross-country runner in the high school season. However, the race dynamics in which he ran his 15:24 at the state meet was totally different than the race dynamics that Elijah ran his 15:24 last year. Lucas, I think I mentioned about 4-time first team all-conference, first time in school history, second person to ever qualify for the state meet, 3 times in school history for a male. We have had, to my knowledge, 5 podium finishes at the state cross-country meet. Lucas has 2 of them. His impact has spread throughout the team because the further up your first runner is, the further up everybody else has to chase. And that is what you've seen for this program. He had Elijah to chase, and I think he mentioned that in his speech, but he has continued to push the envelope, and I think Elijah would recognize that's what made him better. I look forward to hearing what his decision is for his future, but more importantly, I want him to take some time to appreciate what he's done for this program in his past. Congratulations on your MVP. I look forward to seeing what you do in the future. God bless.
Girls MVP, as Coach said, with Lucas, again, congratulations on a great season, Lucas, and a great 4-year career there. Probably the luckiest coach in the year ever to have somebody come in their second year and accomplish what this person has accomplished. I'm talking last year with Coach Parker. We knew that the potential was there. We just didn't expect it this quick. And so when the first week came up, school record was set. It was like, wow, where can she go from here? Because she set the bar so high. And yet, it didn't deter her. Second meet, we had it at Norski here, and her main competition in the conference, she'll tell you, taught her a lesson. I mean, and we were from Wanakee, basically taught her that, hey, you're not ready to run with me. But she didn't let that deter her. Her goal was just to keep improving and see what happens again. And as the season went on, she just kept improving and improving. And it got to the point where we had to start having her practice some of the workouts with the guys because we needed somebody to keep pushing her. That's the type of mentality she had, the work effort that she had. So it was a very easy choice for MVP. A couple other awards before we give the MVP. As Coach Parker gave Lucas, Lily was also the Badger Large Conference Player of the Year for the girls varsity, so she's going to be getting her certificate for that. She was named twice in the Wisconsin State Journal. The first time we put her in. The second time, the Wisconsin State Journal contacted me and said, hey, we want to put this girl in again and recognize her. And when they did, they also have a little voting thing, and she actually won the Supernova of the Week. I don't know if they give you anything for that or what, but so she was in there twice and then won the award there. And then about an hour before the event tonight, I got a text message from the events, WIA events, and the top 40 runners in the state make all state, first, second, and then honorable mention. Now, it's not division. What they take is division 1, 2, and 3, and they take all the times, and the top 40 times make the state. Lily made the second team all-state team this year for state meet. So this MVP award was really easy. Lillian Schultz.
I remember when we voted for captains, it was about 2 weeks into the season, sitting on the picnic tables out at the concession stand, talking to Coach Benson and Coach Najee, getting some input as well from Coach Kaufman and Myers and Coach McCullough. Was 4 too many? I didn't know, because we had 25 guys on the team. You know, you're talking about one in every six, six guys being a captain, and I thought, is that overkill? But then I saw the names that were on there, and every one of them was a leader in their own right for different reasons. The way they connected with people, the way they answered questions, the way they built people up, the way they led by example. You could point to any one of these 4 guys and be thrilled with having them help lead your team. And so that's why, after some consult with these guys, we settled on 4 is the right amount for this team. And I thought they did a heck of a job this year. I want to recognize Henry Meisenbach, Lucas Taylor, and Wyatt Tucker.
And I've already kind of mentioned about our captains. Again, it was an easy choice for the girls. This is one award that basically the girls pick. We have final say over it, but it's their choice. And having a large senior class, I'm sure it was tough to come up with 2, 3, 4, whatever the number was. But we're very thrilled with the choices that were made, and each and every one of them proved themselves to be leaders of the team, whether it was cheering, whether it was running, whether it was practicing. They were truly captains, and so I'm very proud to award these plaques to Isla Thorkelson, Paige Huber, and Emma Hermanson.
Holy cats, it's only 7 o'clock in California. We can go all night. That's it. That's all we have. Please help pick up your stuff over here. Seniors, kids, grab your pictures, please. Thank you for a great season. Take care of yourselves. Don't be late the first hour.